going on? What's going on? How's everybody doing? Come on in, hit that like button. Let us know where you're checking in from. Let us know where you're checking in from. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all come on in, hit that like button. Let us know where you're checking in from as the room builds up. Kirk, how you doing tonight?
What's up, man?
Man, you tell me, man. Tired.
Eh,
Man, you had me on that live stream late yesterday, man.
Late last night. Shout out to
Man.
everybody, man.
Shout out to everybody. Come on in, hit that like button. Let us know where you are checking in from. It's kind of quiet in here tonight. It's people in here, but they just quiet, man. You think they sad about this yellow situation? You think that's like
It's,
you think that's
man,
opening people's
listen,
eyes and reality setting in? What's going on?
man. It's Monday, which is a bad day to get load on the board because it's the weekend. You got the yellow situation, and it's the end of the month. God damn, Mark, you got three things going on at once, bro.
Man, listen here, man. Our show is
But
the
I'm
end, the
all
first of the
here.
month.
But I'm all here. I'm all here. I'm all here.
You said you out
The
here, huh?
road, the road, the road is dead, man. Ain't nothing out here, man.
Ain't nothing
Stay
out there.
home, save your gas money. You know what I mean? This is the only time I tell you to stay home. Stay home, ain't nothing out here.
Oh man. Oh man. You
hmm
saying stay home. It must be looking
I I
ugly.
pass a I pass a yellow location down here in Atlanta because I went to Atlanta today,
Yeah.
and the gate was closed, man.
Yeah, they closed all the gates yesterday. It's
Yeah,
a
so.
sad situation. Sad situation. That's a lot of people. I don't know if they fixed the pension situation. I haven't
hmm
I couldn't find no information on that, but you're talking about 30 plus thousand people. So, you know, that's a lot
Right.
of people, man. So, which I know a lot of the truckers, they'll be able to get jobs easy. The thing that I need to find out is about, their pension. Was that situation resolved? This is a historic event for a company that size, but it's this is 2 decades
hmm
in the making. You know what I'm saying? So they just been having trouble, but still, even with the bailout,
hmm
they did get some form of bailout at one point. Still, they weren't able to
Right.
turn the company around. But we're gonna talk about Yellow a little bit tonight. We're gonna go over some
hmm
articles about Yellow and kind of decipher some things. We're gonna talk about women struggling in trucking, like women specifically. Why are women struggling in trucking? And then we just gonna talk about more about this trucking exodus. It just the exodus continues. Um, yeah, it's just we want to hear some
I
good
feel
news.
like
We
I
want
might
to see some
move.
signals of some good news. Go ahead.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
I feel I'm gonna leave America, man. It's
Why is that?
just falling down, trees falling around, everything is falling, man. I'm a venture out, man. I'm gonna look somewhere else. I'm gonna see what's popping outside of the world.
Yeah.
Cause everything is falling down, man. Everything is falling down. You know what I mean?
But we're gonna talk about this whole trucking situation. We're gonna take it back. What I want to do
Mhm.
tonight is I want to take it back. I want to take it back to the Jimmy Hoffa days, and we're gonna do some education tonight. We're gonna educate some people tonight because that's what we do. We educate people. We further give people a clear understanding on why things are the way they are, so people can stop saying the things that they say when they give misinformation and when they receive misinformation. So
Right.
yeah, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. Come on in, y'all. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Let us know where you're checking in from. Let us know where you're checking in from.
Mhm.
All right, man. Let's see. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? We got 5 Star back in the building. Mark Brown is in the building. We got North Oakland. Is that Oakland? North Okalak. I guess that's Oakland in this mofo. What up, Mark? What up, Fresh? My brothers, the Wiseman. What's going on? Asma rolling in the building. What's going on? What's going on? Who else we got in here? Zupchuck, what it do? We got Byron Gibson, Sacramento in the building. We got Athens, Georgia in the building. What up? What up? We got James Salmon in the building. He said Kirk show was good last night. Oz, what's going
Yeah,
on, Mark?
yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I say yeah, it was good last night. The only problem was Zup Truck wasn't there.
Oh, Jup Chuck went there. All right.
No,
Shout
man.
out to
Keep telling, man.
we got Oz in the building. We got Daniel Williams in the building. I'm glad to see Daniel back. I didn't know if he was gonna show up. Shout out to Florida's in the building. CDA CEO in the building. We got Philly in the building. North Carolina, Texas. What it do? What it do? What it do? All right, let's get started, man. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. This Yellow situation. So yesterday, Yellow ceased operations at noon. Yellow is a company corporation, and they also what falls under Yellow's umbrella? YRC and Holland. They ceased operations yesterday. They locked their gates. They shut everything down. More than likely, they are going to announce bankruptcy if they haven't announced it already. I haven't pulled up this article yet that we're going to go through because I wanted to wait to kind of read it while we were live and kind of go over it. Um, so let's pull up. Let's go on the backstory on this. So that way we can kind of see why this happened and maybe kind of decipher it a little bit. I'm gonna share the
Right.
screen. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh. Let's see. Let me share my screen. There we go. We'll pull it like that. All right, let me move us out the way. Make us smaller. We cool right there. So Yellow's demise, 2 decades in the making. Just let me know if you want me to stop. I want to see how long this is. I'm gonna try to read through it. I'm just curious to know what happened. The biggest bankruptcy in U.S. trucking history could occur in the coming days when the nation's third largest less than truckload carrier, Yellow Corp, files. So Yellow is the third largest LTL carrier in the country. The company sees all operations at noon on Sunday, and leadership representing the Teamsters workforce said it had been notified of a pending bankruptcy filing. The company is still shopping a small 3PL unit, which may delay filing. So they're trying to sell off a small 3PL company that they own, I guess. However, it laid off most of its non-union workforce last week and told union employees on Sunday afternoon not to show up. The Nashville, Tennessee-based company saw operations deteriorate rapidly in recent months as it's unsuccessfully attempted to push through operational changes with its union workforce. Its ultimate failure was anything but sudden. Bankruptcy filing years in the making. This is what I want to hear. A series of large LTL and other acquisitions and efforts to transform Yellow into a global transportation and logistics leader. The ambition of former chairman and CEO William Bill Zollers were the catalyst for an eventual downfall. In 2003, Yellow acquired Roadway. Okay. We do know that Yellow owned Roadway at a 1.1 billion deal and then leveraged up in 2005 to acquire USF, okay, for 1.47 billion. The goal was to emerge with a command position in the LTL space, allowing the company to leverage larger scale into greater operating and cost synergies. A much bigger organization with a debt-laden balance sheet, the company took on the YRC Worldwide moniker in 2006. So they merged they acquired Roadway and USF and merged it into YRC in 2006. That had become a holding company for numerous transportation and logistics brands operating in more than 70 countries around the world. That year it would see its revenue increase more than threefold since the buying spree began to nearly 10 billion, with earnings per share of roughly $5 or 277 million in net income. That would be the financial pinnacle for the company as a freight recession would take hold that year. Right, so there was a freight recession in 2006, followed by a near collapse in the financial market 2 years later. So when they bought those companies and merged to form YRC, they did see increase in revenue. But then we had a freight recession later that year, And then we had the financial collapse, the housing market collapse 2 years later. So they were on their road. They had a plan. They just ran into some bad luck and bad timing, it looks like, in
Mhm.
2006, and they probably just never recovered from it. Hold on. However, YRC continued to grow through the freight downturn and with a more cumbersome debt profile in place. Further expansion of its logistics unit occurred in China with the 2007 acquisition of Shanghai Jiayu Logistics. This further fueled the company's global growth initiatives. The deal complemented its existing freight forwarding and logistics joint ventures in China, which were established in 2005. Failure to integrate acquisitions and its national LTL freight network, Yellow and Roadway's national networks weren't integrated until March of 2009, along with its debt burden left the carrier bloated entering into the Great Recession. Failure to integrate acquisitions and its national LTL freight network, Yellow and Roadway national networks weren't integrated until March 2009, along with its debt burden left the carrier bloated entering the Great Recession. Matters were further compounded by internal service issues and a rapidly declining freight environment, which was highlighted by fierce price competition as some carriers sought to hasten YRC's demise by underbidding freight. The leverage proved to be too much and nearly led to bankruptcy filing in 2009. So it looks like they didn't integrate. So because they failed to integrate, Yellow and Roadway, the debt left the carrier bloated, entering into the Great Recession. They just ran up. So they had the Great Recession of 2009. They had the freight recession of 2006, and then sandwiched in between them, you had the housing market crash.
Uh huh.
So I think with them purchasing those two companies, acquiring companies, when they started to acquire companies, uh,
Mhm.
they didn't recoup their money in time before all those
All the
events happened.
recession started. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So they hadn't recouped. Um, so let me see. Debt for equity swaps, raised concessions, and other financial reengineering. '09 reconstruction was only the beginning. All right, so saved from bankruptcy and with a little breathing room. YRC, I mean, how did they get saved from bankruptcy? I guess I gotta scrim through this. By the end of 2009, YRC was in a perilous position. It had to find a solution for pending debt payments and appease its union workforce, which had already consented to reduce wages. YRC was also tasked with attracting freight to its network as competitors underpriced the company and its customer base saw alternatives and both groups were planning for the carrier's exit. After months of credit agreement and amendments and extensions from the lender group, YRC was finally able to craft a $470 million debt for equity deal in the closing hours of 2009. The deal deferred interest and fee payments to lenders through 2010 and provide the company with access to 160 million in liquidity under its revolving credit facility. The transaction wiped out existing shareholders, including union stakeholders, leaving former bondholders owning 94% of the company's outstanding shares. Wow. The deal was preceded by two rounds of wage concessions from union employees. In early 2009, the union agreed to 10% wage cuts in exchange for a 15% stake in the company. Hmm. Later in that year, another round of wage cuts, this time an additional 5%, as well as an 18-month cessation of pension funds contributions, which would be required to get the debt for equity deal done. The following year, those wage concessions would be extended into 2015 and eventually into 2019. See, they couldn't never recoup. They could never recoup, and the company's new pension contribution rate would be just 20. It's not. This is all robbing Peter to pay Paul. Would be
Mhm.
25% of the rate in place in 2009. All part of Zola's financial restructuring, which concluded in the summer of 2011. The union's equity stake would cease to 25%, and it would get a second seat on the board in exchange. The day before the new deal was approved, YRC said Zollas would step down upon its completion. So he structured the deal and got the hell up out of Dodge in case the shit blew up, which it did. The 2011 restructuring included 100 million new capital for the company, along with increased liquidity under new $400 million loan. The debt for equity swap left existing shareholder positions reduced to just 2.5 of the outstanding stock. That would cap. Oh shit! Hold on. Where did it go? Where did it go? Hold on. Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh shit. Oh, I know where it went. Hold on. Hold on. I'll pull it back up. I got it. I found it. All right. Where did I leave off? Right here. Right here. Say you're 600 million. Right. Where did I leave off at? All right. However, years after neglecting the fund, fleet and terminal upgrades led to higher operating costs and service and inadequacies compared to. Yeah, I need my glasses. Peers fueling a cycle of lower yields and continuing underinvestment in the network. Its industry lagging service scores dead last among national providers, forced it to become a low-cost provider, and its inability to appropriately charge for the freight it hauled left it barely covering operating expenses in most quarters and booking losses when accounting for interest expense and the other items. It just sounded like when he did this deal, he structured the deal as the CEO. He got the hell out of Dodge. It sounds like it was just a lot of robbing Peter to pay Paul because they kept pushing this stuff back year to year, 2009 to 2015 to 2019. Obviously, everyone knows that's in trucking should know if they study the market that there was another freight recession in 2019. Controversial $700 million treasury loan, not enough to save the ship. All right, so this $700 million treasury loan was the bailout. So this is the bailout that they received, and obviously by the subtitle, it was not enough to save the ship. So I'm not going to read through all of that. No change in operations. In the end, Yellow's inability to get a deal done with the union would prove fatal. Months of back and forth proved fruitless. Running out of money and options, Yellow sued the union for breach of contract, saying the Teamsters didn't have the right to reject the change of operations as asserted was vital to the survival. The company said the union also had dragged its feet in coming to the bargaining table when it was well aware Yellow would soon be out of funds. Throughout the process, the union maintained it had already given enough in the form of billions in wages, benefits, and pension concessions. It also said it wouldn't allow Yellow to jump the line and rush negotiations as it was working on other labor deals with closer expiration dates. It offered to begin its normal collective bargaining protocols likely in August or see the current contract through its March 31st, 2024 expiration. So Yellow is blaming it on the Teamsters, and the Teamsters are saying that they wasn't going to push them to the front of the line because they was working on other stuff that had a more sooner expiration date. What do you think so far about this, Kirk?
So one of the thing with those big companies is, and I never can understand it. Maybe because for one, they grow fast. They always grow fast. They're always increasing their fleet. They always getting customer, which is fine. But one of the things that they always do when they grow is lower their costs to get customer. So Yellow will pick up. Let's say they will pick up a load, right? You can't compete with those big companies. So they'll do 6 pallet for $400, 5,000 pounds. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. See what I'm saying? They'll have 3 trucks in 3 different states deliver those 6 pallet. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're running a business just to please customer and no profit is behind you, you're not making no profit. Eventually, this is what's gonna happen. You
Yeah,
understand? A
they've
lot,
been
a lot
operating
of
at a loss.
company,
They've been
right? A
operating at a
lot of
loss since about
companies,
2006. It looked like.
exactly. And so What happened with a lot of these big companies, and a lot of them, many more companies like this is gonna go out of business. When I go to, I got a customer that I go to. When I go to him, when he tell me the price, Yellow, FedEx, UPS, all these guys are taking the load for,
Mm-hmm.
I can't compete with that because and I don't know how their operating cost
Mm-hmm.
is so low. But if I'm charging him $1,500 from Jersey to go to Miami for 4 pallet, they're charging him 650. How they ship it at 650? I have no idea. You see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but my point is, if I'm charging 15, you would think they would charge $1,000, but they charge way low, way so low. But then to bring the freight over, and then you got to remember, in that article it doesn't mention it, but I'm gonna tell you another thing that happened to a lot of these companies. They're not talking about damage claim. You get what I'm saying? They're not talking about loss prevention when stuff gets shipped through their terminal and go missing.
I
They're
think
not talking about pallets that show up, insurance claim and all of that stuff. Trucks that damage, all of that stuff.
it's funny. I talked about this probably last year. I think on the live stream I did when I talked about cross docking my warehouse because Holland YRC were the two companies that I would
Mhm.
see the most. And I mentioned this on that live
Mhm.
stream was that since you mentioned that out of the companies that delivered to me, the freight that was damaged the most came through Holland, YRC, USF, Yellow, all these
Mhm.
subsidiaries. It's like the freight that would come off those trucks would always be damaged, and I would refuse them
Right.
for the most part. But I think the claims were just a small drop in the bucket. Based off reading this, they when they acquired those companies, they just never were able to recoup, and then they just ran into some rough times in trucking and a rough time in the economy with the housing market crash, and then 2016, then 2019. I just think they were never able to recoup. And even right here, I didn't read this part, but I think I probably should. The $700 million bailout, they blew through a $700 million infusion from the government in the form of a COVID relief fund. So they got a PPP. They got 700 million in PPP. The program was established shortly after the outbreak to help companies bridge liquidity gaps directly related to lost business from stay-at-home mandates. The first tranche of the loan was 300 million. So they got 300 million the first go around, which was used to clear the deck of the company's immediate cash needs. It covered previously delayed healthcare and pension plan contribution payments, lease payments on equipment and real estate, and even interest payments on other debt, among other items. And then they got a $400 million. So the second wave of the COVID PPP, they got 400 million, which was used to fund capital expenditures, largely the purchase of tractors and trailers. Why they would purchase? I know why they would purchase it during the pandemic because volume was up, which received considerable. And see, this is why I was going to say why would they do that, and then I said the pandemic because they were still in a jam. And this is why I said which received considerable scrutiny from industry participants. I don't know why they would do that. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I don't know why they would spend the money on more equipment when they was already in a jam. I mean, I
Right.
I I know why because volume was up, but I don't know
Mhm.
why because they should have smart people on their team to know that look, this volume ain't gonna last for long. Let's take this money and get ourselves out of debt because we're gonna purchase the more equipment, and this volume is not gonna be here. It's not
Okay.
gonna be
Rem-
around. So
okay. Okay. So you remember we talked about this whole entire box truck business failed in the pandemic and after the pandemic, and I said to you that a lot of guys who have been in the business before the pandemic should never fail
yeah,
because they are been in the business so long. This company is a prime example. They went through previous history of the trucking industry being failed.
shout out to William for being an MGM.
You see what I'm saying?
Go ahead. Yep.
But yet they're still going at it. They should have never go out of business, especially for what was going on in the pandemic. Because I get it, you want to make money, but you still got to make sure that you make smart move. And
Hit that like button.
a lot of these companies are just it's all boiled down to just greed, man. It's all
But
greed. A lot of these companies are greedy. A lot of these CEOs, a lot of these people, it's just, I mean, they get 700. How much you say they get out of the PPP?
seven,
700 million or 7 million?
700 million.
700 million, right? So what
Hmm.
did they do? They went and go on a shopping spree.
Well, the first go around they paid off some debt, but then when they got the second go around, by that time it probably was like 20. When did that second go around? I didn't get PP. When did the second go around come around? Like 2021. First go around was 2020, right? Second go around was 2021. So when they came around with that second go around 2021, volume was through the roof, right? Because the supply chain had picked up. 2020 everything was down, wasn't really nothing moving. By 2021 supply chain was kind of getting back rolling, so volume was increasing. So they saw that increase in volume, and they was like, "Skip it. Let's go buy more equipment so we can get in on this gravy train." But that's what I'm saying. You got people that I know that are smart. I know I'm smart. You're smart. We got some smart subscribers, but I know they have people that get paid to be smart. They have people that get paid millions of dollars to be smart.
Hmm.
Why, when you got $400 million, would you go buy more equipment to meet the demands of temporary volume increase? Because it's temporary. They should have known that that volume increase was
That
going to be temporary. Instead of taking that money,
right.
because it was going, I'm sure it got forgiven, right? Because I mean, if they forgave people out in the streets for 20 million that was scam, I mean, for 20,000 that was scamming
Hmm.
PPP, and they got forgiven, I'm pretty sure they forgave a company that's been around for years, right? For their 700 million, right? So why not take that second round 400 million and pay off some more debt? You see what I'm saying? That doesn't make any sense. The thought on the part of the government may have been in for a penny, in for a pound. Yellow estimated it would save $10,000 to $12,000 per tractor annually running newer models, and that the upgrades would be the key to reaching longer term financial stability. That's stupid.
Bullshit.
That's
Bullshit.
stupid.
Right.
That's stupid.
Right.
That's stupid.
Bullshit. Because
That's stupid.
guys come out here with 2022 trucks and fail. Your equipment has nothing to do with you coming out here and meeting the demand of what's going on. It's just bullcrap, man. I don't know, bro.
That don't even make
It's
sense. You mean to
it
tell
don't make
me
no sense.
y'all in debt big
Buy a new
time?
truck will solve the problem.
Y'all got free damn near a free damn near $1 billion free that's forgiven, and y'all take 400 million to go buy new trucks.
Because that's gonna solve our debt problem. Don't forget that. We gotta have nicer trucks so when we show up at our customer
They,
facility,
th-
that's remember, that's still paying us the $650 to $700 per stop.
hit that like button. Hit that
We sh-
like button.
we
What?
show up in a new truck, we're gonna get the same rate, but somehow it gonna make us balance the company out. This I don't
Check
know,
this
man.
out. In total, the company replaced roughly 2,400 tractors. 2,400 tractors during the pandemic. During the pandemic, 17% of the fleet, and 3,600 trailers, and it purchased 600 rail containers. So they purchased 600 intermodal containers, executing roughly 3 years of tractor capex in a 15-month period. However, the new loan raised its total outstanding debt to 1.6 billion from 880 million at the end of 2020 rather. First quarter, the last update prior to the loan announcement. So I don't know. I jumped the gun saying that they it was forgiven, but I'm pretty sure they did get it forgiven. But if they were in debt, if they were in debt 880 million, however, the new loan raised the total outstanding debt to nearly 1.6. All right, so they was at 808. So then they got to 700. That raised it to 1.6. But I'm sure that 700 got forgiven. The Treasury issuance of the loan in July 2020 has been heavily scrutinized since. An oversight commission concluded recently there was many shortcomings in the decision-making process used to issue the loan. A key concern all along with the company's precarious financial condition prior to the pandemic. So they
Wait,
was in debt
wait a minute.
880 million and they went out and bought brand new trucks, bro. That shit don't
Right,
even make
right, right.
sense.
Wait,
They
but wait a minute. Read that part about the loan again. The scrutinizing part.
The Treasury's issuance of the loan in July 2020 has been heavily scrutinized since. An oversight commission concluded recently there were many shortcomings in the decision-making process used to issue the loan. They overlooked a bunch
So
of stuff.
somebody, right,
But here's the thing.
right.
But
So
but
me,
we but I can't go ahead. You breaking up, Kirk. You in the dead zone. Hey Kirk, you in the dead zone. You sound like you in the Matrix. You there?
Go ahead.
Kirk.
Yeah, I'm here. You hear me?
You gotta say that. Yeah, you was in the Matrix for a second. Say that again.
Yeah. No, I was saying, go ahead.
Nah, your phone was breaking up. You went through a dead zone. We didn't hear nothing you said.
No, I'm saying that they were scrutinizing the loan, right? They said that there was a lot of shortcomings, right?
Yeah.
So this
But
is
there
what
was
I try to tell people
go ahead.
about corporate America, man, and this is why I'm trying to tell it. That's why this world will always be unfair. If I ask for 50 grand, I got so much stuff that these guys will need from me sometime. You see what I'm saying? And these guys are getting way heavier loan than me, and they get to, like, I don't get it, man.
I don't like that right there, that shortcoming decision making process that issued the loan. I think that was everybody's case. Look how many people got $20,000 PPP that didn't even have a business, that made up a business just to get the loan. So I think there was shortcomings on that whole loan process just in general with everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I can't.
Even the bank who's giving these guys new trucks, they don't look at their books to see that they're in the negative or the company's not making a profit.
I mean, Kurt, it was people out here buying Tahoes, right? That was getting approved for Tahoes that in normal situations would probably only get approved for a Malibu. Everybody was just taking the money at that time. Look how many repossessions that's up now. The bank was approving cars for people that in normal situations they wouldn't have gotten approved for. So that was just in every situation. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
they did the same thing in 2008 when we had the bubble in 2008. They were repossessing house from guys who was working at KFC, McDonald's, Burger King, people that had a regular job that couldn't afford to get in a regular house. Because what a lot of people don't understand with these pandemic stuff, you got a lot of predator lending goes on. You see what I'm saying? Like you said, repossession is up, and we're not just talking about up like people are losing their car, like up, like all them L-cat that I used to talk about is now sitting at auction yard. You know, you go on YouTube, you see people trying to drive the L-cat off the damn tow truck. I see people are driving cars off the tow truck, and I'm like, are you really still paying for that old 1999 Tahoe? Like, how you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, the banks were just approving everything. Like I said, you know, people were getting approved for things that in normal circumstances they wouldn't have gotten approved for. People was getting approved for Tahoes, but in normal situations they would have only gotten approved for a Malibu. So, you know, that's why repossessions are up, because people were using that income. The bank was accepting PPP. They were accepting that earned child care credit, whatever that was, EIDL, PUA, state unemployment, all that income that was coming in due to the pandemic. The banks were looking at that as income and approving people for cars that in normal situations, in normal circumstances, they wouldn't have gotten approved for because they couldn't afford them. So once all that money, that additional money stopped coming in, it was back to normal and they couldn't afford to pay. That's why you see A lot of repossessions going on now. A key concern all along with the company's precarious financial condition prior to the pandemic, given its history of operating at a loss. Like we said, it's been operating at a loss for damn near 2 decades, and its poor credit ratings, yellow financial profile, and the Treasury's less favorable lien position compared to the company's other creditors present significant default risks to the taxpayers, the commission found. Yellow qualified for the loan under a Treasury created catch-all category critical to maintaining national scrutiny. The carrier was thought to handle 68% of the Defense Department's LTL freight at the time, so they was carrying freight for the government. A number that the commission later estimated to be only between 20 and 40%. The commission also took issue with the LTL service couldn't be handled by another carrier and why a backup plan for service wasn't in place in the event Yellow shut down. However, the commission ultimately acknowledged the loan program lacked established guidelines and underwriting was done on the fly as government authorities were required to move quickly to provide emergency liquidity. So this wasn't a PPP. This was like a government issue loan. This wasn't a PPP. They had to pay this back. It provided future remedies should the need for another crisis, included lending program, arise. At the end of the 2023 first quarter, Yellow owed the government. See, this wasn't a PPP, Kirk. They owed the government
Right.
$729.4 million, including capitalized interest. It had made total cash interest payments of $59.6 million by the end of May, according to a company representative. See, in addition
Hmm.
to collateral for the loan, the government received a 30% equity stake in Yellow. So, in addition to collateral for the loan, the government received 30% equity stake in Yellow, would likely be wiped, which would likely be wiped out if it files for bankruptcy. Yellow two top paid executives earned more than $6 million combined in total compensation the year the Treasury loan was issued. Hmm. So they
So
made
two guys, so
they
two
made three
guys who
million
work for
apiece.
one go make 3 millions apiece.
Yeah, I told you. Like, so basically, I don't know. The company sound like it's been ran poorly since 2006. The CEO who was the CEO then when he acquired those companies and just things just went up on hard time. He structured that deal and then he stepped down as soon as the deal closed. The day the deal closed, he stepped down the very next day, and it's just been ran poorly since. It obviously has been ran poorly. You get $700 million, you go buy new equipment during the pandemic instead of using that
Wow.
money to pay off debt. And this was a loan that obviously wasn't forgiven. This wasn't a PPP loan. This was a loan that they had to
Hmm.
pay interest on, that they had to put collateral up for, and that the government took a 30% stake in the company also as additional collateral. Um,
Right.
and they just kind of blew it. So I don't know, man. That's why that company failed. Now that we read through this and broke it down, um, I can't really attribute this company going out of business to just the current freight crisis. This was just years in the making. This was just going to be one
Yeah.
of those inevitable things. This doesn't have anything to do with the exodus that's going on in trucking right now. I won't attribute it to that based off reading this. This was just poor managing of this company. You know what I'm saying? The shareholders, like I don't even know why how the shareholders sat by and like it's just this was just poor management, poor execution, just poor all around the board. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for the people who worked for this company, all the people who work for this company who are not involved in the inner workings and the backroom dealings that go on with the company, who aren't abreast, who or even if they were abreast, wouldn't understand what none of this stuff
Hmm.
was we just read and broke down. They're just running for this company, just running, thinking everything is a okay. And now, I don't even know. Um,
That's crazy though. That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, I don't even know if
Yeah.
if did the pension situation get resolved with this company?
They need to take them damn $6 million from them two guys at the top and give the guys at the bottom the pension. That's bullcrap. This is why I keep telling you guys, man. I wish everybody could not work for nobody. Unfortunately, life doesn't set up like that. But they got two guys at the top, while a company's failing, making six and how much was it? 6 million,
3 million a piece, 6 million. Yeah.
$3 million a piece, and that's a year, right?
Yeah, that was the year that they got the loan. That year that they
So
got the
you
loan.
so you have a dying company, and one guy's getting 3 million a year on a dying company. You get up out of your bed 4 o'clock in the morning time to go work, and I don't know, man. I need to talk to the government because I need some
gotta
money.
do shit again. And nobody tell me, and nobody here tell me why I get emotional. Why you talk like that? That's fine. Fucking
That's fine. You can do that.
You don't know what I motherfucking feel. I want my ass over this motherfucking
Exactly.
I've been here 30-something motherfucking years.
Yeah, I agree with you.
30-something fucking years. You tell me I ain't got no motherfucking pension.
Yeah, I agree.
And nobody tell me to calm my ass down. Fuck everybody tell me to calm down. God damn it.
Who is
This
that?
my motherfucking money off.
It's one of the yellow truckers, the drivers, or one of the union guys, or non-union guys. Somebody that had been there 30 years. This video like 2 weeks old, but this is when it was first announced that.
In a few seconds, you're about to watch a video
what
of how people
happened
react
was
when they work
on the
for
brink
a
of
company
happening.
for 30 years with the
So-
promise of a pension when they're done working when they retire. And then that company decides to just completely cancel that pension and stop paying their workers because they're having financial difficulties themselves.
This is motherfuckers don't tell. But now we gotta do this shit again. We gotta do this shit again. And nobody tell me, and nobody here tell me why I get emotional. Why you talk like that? That's fine. Fucking
That's fine. You can do that.
You don't know what I motherfucking feel. I want my ass over this motherfucking
Exactly.
I've
Exactly.
been here 30-something motherfucking years.
Yeah, I agree with you.
30-something fucking years. You tell me I ain't got no motherfucking pension.
Yeah, I can't watch that, bro.
Yeah, that's what happened when you invest in companies for 30 years.
Yeah, I can't watch that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad, man. So,
Why is it that they never put something in writing and make sure that that is put in place? Because it sounds like they were working based on a promise. Is that
no, I
is
think I think once upon a time the company ran like a normal company. I just think decisions were made that are beyond employees' control for the betterment of the powers that be. You know what I'm saying? And
a
they
lot of
just
guys
weren't.
at the top, they know this company was gonna fail. They start to scrape as much as they can. They don't give a crap. They start to take as much money as they can to file for these loans. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that a lot of
Yeah,
these people do, man.
yeah, that's what happens. But you have to stay abreast with what's going on. It's just like me. I invest in companies. I invest in companies through the stock market. I'm on those earning calls. I don't miss those earning calls. You know what I'm saying? Because I need to know what's going on because some of these companies I got a lot of money tied up in. All right, so I have to do my due diligence and stay abreast of what's going on. You see what I'm saying? So even when you're a worker and you're working at a company and you're investing into your pension, I'm not putting the blame on them, but the writing has been on the wall since 2006.
Right.
So I feel bad for this gentleman here, but at the end of the day, he's been there 30 years, right? So it's 2023, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's 2023. So he's been there since 1993, right? Right? So in
Yeah.
2006, when this happened, and in 2009, when they ran into trouble, and in 2016, when they ran into trouble, and in
He
2019,
was
when
there.
they ran into trouble, he was there. So
Right.
there was, I'm sure it made the news. These were big situations. They almost went bankrupt in 2009. So the chitter chatter was around the company. So, he's been there for 30 years. You have to, as an employee that's investing in a pension, you have to stay abreast. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I'm not placing the blame on him, but what I'm saying is
Yeah, I
the
know.
writing
The
has been
signs
on
was
the
already
writing has
there.
been on the
Right.
wall for 2 decades. So he hung it out. He could have been
Yeah, you
moved around. He could
ignore
have been
it.
moved around.
Right.
Right. So,
Yeah.
it's just a sad situation, but he should still be entitled to his pension. But I don't think they have the money, man. I don't think they got the
And they
money.
ain't going he ain't gonna get nothing from them. So all that hollering and barking, they ain't gonna give him nothing.
Yeah, it's sad, man. It's
Them
sad,
$3
but
million guys at the top, they ain't gonna cut him a check.
they might go to jail. They could probably go to jail though if it's some type of shady. If they get investigated, right?
And these guys are coming to court with $150,000 lawyer just to spend 2 hours. You think they're gonna send these guys to jail? I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. It's messed up, man. It's sad that happened, but it is what it is. So, you want to move on, or you want to
Yeah, man. 'Cause
continue?
this.
It's kind of
I mean,
depressing, ain't it?
yeah. I mean, there's nothing to talk about. I mean, there's nothing really to talk
Yeah,
about.
that's
I
just a
mean, bad business,
situation.
you know.
Yeah, they made mad business. So if you're working for a company, you know, it's you do want to stay abreast. You know, if they have company meetings, if you can tap into earnings calls, and this is why I say I've said this plenty of times. I used to say it a lot last year. I haven't said it any this year because I felt like when I was saying it last year was falling on deaf ears. If you're investing into a company, you have a right to join those earnings calls. Like you need to be
Right.
on those calls. And even for you
Right.
owner operators, I used to say it all the time. I haven't said it recently. If you're running for a company, if you're running for RXO, if you're running for Amazon and you don't own stock in the company, you're doing yourself a disservice. I ain't gonna say you tweaking. But you is, but I ain't gonna say it. Like if you're running for a company, whether you are an employee there or you're an owner operator, you should own shares of that company. I call it double dipping. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no way in hell I have a contract with RXO. I have a contract and I'm running Amazon Relay or I'm running JB Hunt and I'm not aggressively buying shares into the company that I'm doing business with.
Right.
They're benefiting from me running that truck and delivering this freight, big and bulky freight, this curbside freight, right? They're benefiting from it more than you are. I need to get some of that money back. I need some of that back. So I would take a small portion of every settlement, whatever you can afford, and I would purchase shares of that company. And I would purchase it through my company. I wouldn't purchase it as an individual. I would have my company purchase the stocks. My company would have a portfolio invested into the companies that I run for.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing. A lot of these guys, they don't understand stocks. I mean, it's
Well, this is why I'm telling them.
Yeah, but you got to do a live and show people how to buy stocks and how to manage stocks and what to buy in stocks and how much money to put in stocks. I mean, you know what I mean? It's I get what you're saying. A lot of people, they hear the terminology stocks and buying stocks, but you know,
It's easy now, Kurt. They can go on Robinhood and do that right now. It ain't like how it used to be back in the day when you needed a broker and all that stuff. They can do it. They can do it themselves, but there's no way in hell I'm running for a company and I don't own a piece of the company that I'm running for. I need some of that money back. I got a buddy of
mine out of Jersey lose $250,000 off of Robinhood during the pandemic. He owns a cell phone store he has 2 cell phone stores in Jersey.
Yeah.
He lost $250,000 off of Robinhood.
Was it in 2020? Was it in 2021?
When the stock dropped.
Was it in 2021? It was 2021. Yeah. Well, then he wasn't a smart investor.
Yeah, so
because he was playing the game and he didn't know how to play the game. See and that's the thing.
Saying. Right, that's what I'm saying. Not a lot of people know to play the game. So,
but see, that's what I'm saying. I don't feel bad for people like that because for every seller, there's a buyer. When you sell a stock, in order for you to sell a stock, somebody has to buy it. If no one's buying it, you can't sell it. It's just going to sit there. All right.
He should have sold it in 2020.
No, so I mean, I got out before the crash because I knew the crash was coming.
Right.
I knew that at that point I was skilled enough to know that a lot of the stocks that I held were inflated. I own CCIV. Lucid hadn't even produced a car yet. They didn't even have a car on the road. Yet and still the stock was sitting at $60 a share without even a car on the road. Everything was inflated. Why? Trump infused the stock market, and also you had people that were sitting at home that had an infusion of capital and they wanted to gamble. So people sitting at home downloading the apps and they're investing in stocks, and just like you had box truck gurus and box truck influencers, you had a lot of stock influencers too during the pandemic, right? So that was driving the stocks up to the biggest bull run the stock market has ever seen, right? Why do you think GameStop went from $3 to $400 something because of Wall Street bets? AMC, COS, Bed Bath and Beyond, all this stuff was being pushed. You go on Wall Street bets, one day they'll say, look, we finna run up GameStop. The next day we finna run up Bed Bath and Beyond. And everybody would just go buy it. It was a game because people were sitting at home and they didn't have nothing to do.
Right.
Right? So yeah, your friend, he got left holding the bag. You know what I'm saying? So
Left all in the bag. The bag was empty.
but that's what it is. That's the term we use and hold these bags. Because remember what I said, the object is to buy low and sell high. So if I buy a stock low and I sell it high, I'm selling it high. In order for me to sell it, somebody has to buy it. So, and the person who buys it is a sucker. This is why when I was talking the other day about business and competitive and like one lady got mad talking about, man, how you going to take food out of somebody else? This is business. If I own a stock and I buy it at a penny and this company runs up and I sell it at $100 and you FOMO in and you buy it at $100 and when it gets to 101, it comes crashing down, you are the sucker. I left you holding my bags. I made money off you. That's business. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way that's the way the cookie crumbles. I don't feel no type of way because you didn't do your research and you FOMO'd in. Because now everybody's talking about, oh, GameStop is running up. Yeah, so the people who bought in at $400 and something, they FOMO'd in. The people who had owned it when it was a penny stock, when it was sitting around $2, $3, that sold to that sucker at $400, they're the ones that cashed out. If they bought 100 shares at $3 a piece and then they sold those 100 shares at $450 a piece, do the math. The person who bought them at $400 a piece is sitting right now looking like the sucker. They got left holding the bag. That's just how business works.
So if you buy anything in the pandemic, pretty much, and get left holding the bag, you're a sucker.
If you bought in 2020 and you sold you sold in the latter part of 2020, early part, right around inauguration time in 2021, you came out ahead. I sold right around inauguration, and I knew the bull cycle in crypto was starting. So I sold. I didn't pull that money out. I transferred that money into crypto and ran it up during the crypto cycle, and I exited 85 to 90% of my crypto portfolio in November 2021 before that came crashing down, and I've been dollar cost averaging back in since then for the next bull cycle.
All right. Yeah, so what you got to do is one of these days you do a live and you got to show these guys how to buy your stocks.
Nah, I ain't gonna do that because this ain't a stock channel, and I'm not gonna. Here's the thing: what I'm not gonna do is tell people how to invest their money because in something like that. Because if they follow me, I don't want nobody saying they lost it all. See, whatever I invest in, I can afford to lose.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I don't know what other people gonna do. Man, I heard Mark talking about this. They go take a loan out and then they go invest in it. And they lose, you know what I'm saying? Thinking they finna do what Mark doing the whole time. Mark invested in it, but Mark sold a month ago. You holding on to it.
Right.
Man, Mark, I heard you bought this stock, man. I bought it and it was doing good, but then it came crashing down. Man, well, I sold mine before the crash. Didn't you hear the CEO got caught with a prostitute? You see what I'm saying? You ain't watching the news?
Right,
No, I'm running my box truck, man. Listen, if you investing into a company, then you need to watch MSNBC and CNBC every single day because you need to stay abreast of this stuff. Because while you're at work, the stock could be tanking. This ain't no
right.
game. And see, I wouldn't talk about this stuff because I know people not gonna take it serious. You have to keep up with this stuff. You got to have alerts set. Your stock could be going one way at the opening bell. By 12 o'clock, the CEO could get caught with a cross dresser. Next thing you know, the stock tanking. You see what I'm saying? You gotta be you need to
Right.
man. You gotta be
You
know
gotta
what's
be
going
ready.
on. You gotta be ready.
Uh, gotta
You
be
gotta be
ready.
ready. So yeah, but you know, it is what it is, man. We can go on to you want to go to the next one, the women in trucking.
Yeah, let's talk about the woman in truck. I want to say this before. I mean, I know what you're saying about stocks, but uh, forget it, man.
Nah,
It's
say what
fine.
you gotta
Let's
say.
talk.
Nah, say what you gotta say. Say what you
No,
gotta
because
say.
see, no, because see, what I find is,
Hit that like button.
there's certain things that is heavily promoted,
Mm-hmm.
but I think one of the problem with the stuff that's being promoted, and I'm just talking about in general, you know, I'm gonna give an example. Like a lot of people promote real estate, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people are not educated on real estate. You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying? They're not
Mm-hmm.
educated on the things that is promoted. So I think a lot of people that lose a lot of money out here
Mm-hmm.
is not it's not only it's like a trend. You know, they
Mm-hmm.
follow the trend. They're
Mm-hmm.
not trying to learn to capitalize on whatever the trend is. You see what I'm saying? So, you talk about box truck, people hear you
Mm-hmm.
talk about it, say you can make a
Mm-hmm.
money. It's a trend, they invest in it,
Mm-hmm.
they lose money.
Mm-hmm.
Go buy real estate.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like it's just a keep going and going and going. And I think that a lot. And you're right. A lot of people you can't even give them advice on certain things that where money is involved because when they lose, they're gonna blame you and say
That's
you're the one that you know what I mean. And
that's why I don't
it's
do it. See, I
crazy.
can I
Yeah,
can
it's
talk to you
crazy.
about I can talk to you about box trucks, and if you if you lose, the first thing I'm gonna say, did you do this? And you're gonna say
Uh huh.
no, and I'm gonna say that's why you lost. Like
Right.
James, we
Right.
told him what
Right.
to do. I don't feel bad. You don't feel bad because we told him what to do, and he did the complete opposite.
Mhm.
All right. I can tell you how to succeed in box trucking. That's why when I do my lives, you see, you see testimonials. You have yet to see one person say Mark scammed or robbed them, or I listened to Mark and listen to Mark ran my trucking into the ground. Every single day in my DMs and my message, I get testimonials.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Because I've been doing this for so long, I know what to tell you to do and I know what to tell you not to do. I'm not a
Right.
professional in stock market trading and I'm not a professional in crypto trading. I'm just smart at it to the point where I know how to make money from it because I've lost
Right.
money learning how to trade. But I'm not
Yeah.
a
Right.
financial advisor. So when you say, Mark, do a live on it, and I tell you immediately no, because I'm not going to be the one because I can afford to lose. I could put five,
Right.
$10,000 into a stock. And if I put $10,000 into a stock, that means I can afford to lose $10,000 on that stock. But what I'm not going to do is have somebody it's talk about something and then people invest in it. And if they lose, they want to blame me. If I lose in the stock, then I understand that's just a part. That's just the nature of the play.
Of the
So
business.
the only thing I
Right.
can do is just sit on it and hopefully wait for it to go up over a period of time. You know what I'm saying? But I know what companies to invest in. You see what I'm saying? And I know how to hold. I'm not looking for the short. My stuff is sitting and sitting, 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 sitting. You see what I'm saying? So
Somebody.
even if the stock market starts to trend again, like box trucks start to trend again, I'm not going to talk about stock. I'm only going to talk about
Mhm.
box trucks because I don't
Right.
follow waves. I don't follow trends. I talk about what I professionally know. Professionally, I'm a trucker by profession.
Right.
So I only feel comfortable and it's only right that I talk about trucking. I'm not going to talk to you about stocks. I'm not going to talk to you about real estate, even though I own property, because I don't do real estate as a profession.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So you said somebody said what?
No, somebody say you can learn stuff from YouTube University and Google.
You can, but here's the thing. It depends on who you learning it from. Because a lot of people thought
Right.
they was learning something from some of these box truck people, and what they learned is how to run out of money and run their business into the ground.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They learned how to
Oh
do
man.
everything the wrong way. See, you're going to listen to a person who's going to tell you to do things the right way, or you're going to listen to a person who's going to tell you to do things the wrong way because they don't know how to do them themselves. They just saw Google Trend and they saw box truck. Okay, they said Google Trends. What's trended? Stock market, crypto, box truck business. All right. Well, stock, crypto is a little bit too complicated, but hey, I can talk about box trucks. It can't be that hard. And then they start talking about box trucks, the basic generic stuff. But when it comes to that stuff that me and Kirk be talking about, that's why we're still here talking about it. If those people were cold like that stuff that me and Kirk be talking, how I'm able to talk about the economy and say, yo, ain't gonna be no peak season and this and that and this and that, is because of years of experience, tenure, on top of me having a college degree in business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of it has to do with my tenure in the business. If they were good at this stuff, they would talk about it because it would boost them up and it would boost their credibility as a content creator and box trucker, right? Because ultimately they're gonna want subscribers, they're gonna want to sell their coaching, what they call the mentorships. They're gonna want it. It's gonna make them look smarter. The object of selling a course and a mentorship for those that sell it is you need to look smart so people can buy into what you're selling. But they not talking about nothing. They just saying, man, buy my mentorship. Tap in with me. They show their Louis Vuitton bag or their Hellcat or this and that, and that's what makes people tap into them. Not what they're saying, but not what's coming out their mouth. If I'm gonna buy a coaching session or a mentorship from somebody, then you need to sound smart. You need to show me, man, this dude's intelligent, he's smart. Man, I'm gonna invest because I can't go wrong, because look how much value I've gotten just from listening to this person for free. This is a highly intelligent person. This person really knows about trucking inside and out. I want to invest to see what, man, my money will get me, because I ain't got so much value for free.
Right. Oh boy. Don't beat them over the head, man. It's Monday. They're tired, bro. Take time with them.
You want
It's
to talk
the
about
end
the
of the
women?
month, man. It's the end of the month, man.
Hey man, all my bills came out. I got everything set on auto pay. Most of them came out this morning. I don't worry about that, Kurt. It's just set on auto pay, man. So, you know.
Oh man. But yeah,
But
man. Let's move on, man. Let's talk about the female and the trucking, man.
I'll let you
This
kick
guy,
that one off because I just ran my mouth for a long time.
this guy said-
I just ran my mouth for a little while, so I'm gonna let you talk.
This guy said that his bill said on auto pay, man. You think you're the only one with a debit card, man?
No, I'm just saying. You said it's the first of the month. My stuff on auto pay.
Oh man, this guy, man. I got a credit card, man. I got cards too, man. Don't throw no words at me, man.
Okay.
I might have
Hey,
to
man.
walk to the cable company to pay a partial payment, but come
You know
on,
what?
man.
Speaking of
You know
cable,
how it is, man.
I'm thinking about getting my cable cut off. I don't even watch TV. I pay $300 a month to
You got
Comcast, and I don't
cable?
even watch TV. I got
For
cable.
what?
I don't
Why?
know.
Why you got cable?
I swear to God, I pay $300. Hey,
You-
listen, let me show you. I pay
listen,
$300 a month for cable, bro.
For
Like
what?
$285. I don't
The only
know.
thing I got is internet. I got internet. That's it. I don't need no cable, man.
You think I'm tweaking?
Man,
pay
listen.
$380,
Mark,
$285? Yo,
Mark, call me and
yeah.
I set you up with a Chinese dish network, man.
Oh
Call
man,
me.
I don't want that. I don't want that bootleg stuff. That's bootleg.
What bootleg? What bootleg?
It's bootleg.
Man,
That Chinese
what you
stuff.
talking about? Man, you tweaking, bro. Press the tweak button, man. You're twitching. You're not even tweaking, bro.
Man, let's go on with the show,
Bootleg.
man. Let's
Man,
go
I'm
on with the
watching
show.
I'm watching the latest movie.
You got a Fire Stick?
Man, just tell
Is
me
it a
what you
fire
need,
stick?
man.
Is it a
No,
fire
man.
stick?
Hey, man, just tell me what you
Wait,
need.
hold
Just
on,
tell me
hold
what
on,
you
hold
need.
on. You said you don't got cable, but you watching the latest movie, so that's bootleg.
Yeah.
That's bootleg.
Hey, you want to call it bootleg? I'm not paying no damn $300.
He got a
All
fire
I,
stick talking about
all I,
he ain't got
all I
bootleg.
need, all I need is the internet service. That's it. The hell you talking about $300, bro?
That's how
Man,
much they charge, man. Two
listen,
ni-
I
two
was,
ninety one,
man,
290,
man,
291.57.
for what?
That's how much I pay for cable and the internet through
Man,
Comcast.
and you don't have no kids? Man, my kids been living on YouTube.
I
I
got
don't
I
have,
got I got
man,
cable boxes in 3 rooms. So I got one in the office, the living room, and my bedroom. So I'm
uh,
paying for the 3 boxes, and then I got all the channels, and then I
okay,
got
Mark.
the highest internet.
All right. Take it back to the store
I
tomorrow and call
I
me.
I've been
Take it
paying
back to
for
the
it for
store.
10 years, Kurt. Since I bought this place 10 years ago. But
Man,
all right, let's
take it.
move on. Let's move on,
Yeah,
bro. Let's move
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah, let's talk about the ladies. Cause they're
I'll
gonna
cut my.
need your $300 after this.
It's on auto pay, man. They'll take it tomorrow.
Oh
I ain't,
man.
I ain't gonna worry about it.
Yeah. So this trucking, this. Oh man. But yeah, man. Let's go, man. Talk to me.
So I was watching something on another channel, which wasn't a trucking channel, and was talking about how women are. Well, a lot of people are struggling in trucking, but women are really struggling in trucking right now. And I know we touched on it recently. I think a major reason why a lot of women um, are struggling. Um, I think I can speak for my lane, and then you can speak for
Mhm.
OTR. For my lane, and I'm gonna keep it funky with you. I know some women gonna get mad. There was a woman in here Thursday night that kind of got upset, and then she mentioned her
Mhm.
son, and the chat just went in on her, man. She
Mhm.
must didn't know about the MGMs. But anyway, I think in my lane, a lot of women, and all this is centered around the pandemic. A lot of people that got into the business during the pandemic who came up on an infusion of capital and wanted to start a business and they had to choose a lane. The ones that chose the
Right.
lane of final mile, um, obviously they were told I can go get a box truck, I can go hire 2 guys, and then they can deliver furniture. The problem that they're
Right.
having is they don't have the respect. One, if they can find people to work, they don't have the respect of the men that are working for them. One, they're not going to get that respect because they physically can't do the work themselves. And two, they have, like I said before, they can't physically train, nor do they know how to do the training. Um,
Mhm.
Two, a lot of the women are having a hard time just sourcing talent to do the work. As soon as they even get someone who inquires and they find out that it's a woman, they immediately just decline the position, or they don't
Don't
respond
bother with
anymore,
them.
don't call back, they don't want to bother with them. You know what I'm saying? So I you know in my lane, final mile, I know it's tough for women because they physically just can't do the work. Now, from the OTR, from my perspective, from I'm seeing, um, I think the emotion, I think the competitiveness of the rates, and I think the women just don't have that desire to go out there and really be cutthroat enough to really go out there and really get it. What you think about that, Kurt?
I think, yeah, definitely. Woman is, certain job and certain field is not designed for women. Even though women committed in this whole trucking thing, um, a lot of women, especially nowadays, I don't think a lot of these women have the passion. Everybody wants to make money. I get it, but I don't think a lot of them have the passion, the drive. They don't have
Mm-hmm.
the stamina. You might. I go to warehouse before woman shows up with a box truck. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they don't know what to do.
Hmm.
Woman shows up at these facility where they gotta offload the stuff, and it's like they're walking around looking for help. You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It's
Mm-hmm.
just different things. I don't think a lot of these jobs are here is for women that that are trying to
Mm-hmm.
come in and make money. Now, a lot of women, like I said the last time, they come in and they always say some people start out with good intention but then switch to bad intention. Some of them come
Mm-hmm.
out here and instead of stay focused, they come out here, they were wearing shirt that was around their neck right down to their waist. They were wearing jeans. It's fine. You can do whatever you want, but then after a while they realize that the more attention you get, it's like they sexualize themselves, you know what I mean? And so
Mm-hmm.
a lot of women start to lose a lot of respect. Men start to lose respect for them, and then you know it's just start to go downhill. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
lot of stuff, man. I mean, a lot of women is just different. It's a different thing. It's just different for women out here. A lot of them is not making money because they're not that aggressive like men. Some of them are, but majority of them is not. A lot of women talk a lot um, about trying to do a lot of stuff, but then when they come out here, it's like they can't execute it like that. You know what I mean? They
So
never
you think
can
it's
fulfill the plan that they really come out here said they're gonna do. Not all of
so
them, some of them.
so so what about the over the road aspect? Like women are a lot more cleaner. In some cases, because I done
What
been
do you
to a
mean?
lot of
What do
chicks.
you
I
mean
done
cleaner?
dated some chicks. I done dated some chicks, and I think men keep their places cleaner than women. But I'm saying as far as like showering and just the whole
The old hygiene thing.
yeah the hygiene thing with the women.
I,
Is trucking too gritty? Is it too gritty
I'm
for
gonna be
women?
honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. When you come out here, see, this is why being a company driver, right, is a different lifestyle from a. Let me pause a little bit. Being a company driver is a different lifestyle, or should be a different lifestyle than an owner operator. Hear me out. If you are an owner operator, you should not be having the same lifestyle as a company driver. You got drivers who are company drivers. They can't move the truck. They can't go to Walmart. It's restricted. They can't go here. They can't go there. You got owner operator that got the same thing. They can't go here. They can't go there because they don't have the money to move around.
Mhm.
It's a different lifestyle. So when it comes on to women and men carrying themselves a certain way out here. I mean, you got
Mhm.
guys out here that need to get a haircut for the last 3 months
Mhm.
and just let himself loose. You know what I mean? Likewise, women.
Hit that like
But
button.
I think a lot of people that come out here, I, I mean, they they just fall victim to the streets, man. The streets is brutal, Mark. They fall victim to the streets.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm out here. I'm out here. I was at a hotel yesterday, right? Cool.
Uh,
I'm an owner operator. I own my truck. You saw me a couple weeks ago. You get what I'm saying? Like I own my
uh,
stuff, so I don't have the lifestyle as a truck driver. You see what I'm saying? Like it should be two different. Like when you see an owner operator, you should be able to tell whether it's a man or woman that this guy owns his truck. Your truck should be clean. Your appearance should be different. But you got guys
mhm.
out here. You got owner operator out here look worse than man. You just need to go be a company
Wait,
driver.
wait, wait till you see this next video we're gonna show when we talked about
Cause
the
your boss
Exodus.
is gonna tell you that the way you're showing up at work is not
Mhm.
acceptable. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I
Hit that
my
like
let
button.
me my thought my take on being out here is
Mhm.
as an owner operator. Let me talk about owner operator. As a woman or man owner operator, you should look apart, man. Like you should look apart. You shouldn't even be talking like I've heard people who talking like truck drivers. You know, I was talking to someone a couple months ago, and they're like, you know, we were talking about truck driving. And this is a thing that I meant to say a lot of time, and I'm gonna say it now. People who believe that truck drivers make money is bullshit. Truck drivers doesn't make money. Guys who drive trucks for company does not make money. Stop letting them fool you on the internet. They don't.
But you said guys that drive truck for companies
That
or
a
truck
lot
drive.
of guys, hold on, a lot of guys who drive truck for companies does not make money.
Well, I
You
know
see what I'm saying?
my guys make money.
No, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I'm going somewhere, Mark. Follow
My
me.
best
They
friend.
don't.
Okay, I'm listening to you. I'm
They
listening.
go. They don't. Hold on. They don't make
All right.
money, right?
Mhm.
But when you look at what some of the owner operators are doing, the guys who are driving trucks making more money than some of the owner operators.
Yeah, I can vouch for that.
You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So some of you owner operator really need to go be company drivers. Because a lot of the company drivers, when you see them, you know this guy's making money. There was a time when you come out here as a truck driver, owner operator, you could tell the difference. You got these guys all here raggedy, Superman underpants showing, running around with a damn air look like a mop, smell like rooster. You are owner operator. That truck is yours. You a boss, a CEO. You own an LLC. You understand you pay the IRS directly? You see what I'm saying? So a lot of, and that goes for men and women. Then they got dirty trucks. They open the door on the inside of the truck. You can't tell if they're inside or outside. The inside of the truck look exactly like outside. It's crazy. So,
Yeah.
and then you got guys who come out here that can't afford, owner operator can't afford to take a shower at a hotel, can't afford to spend a night at a hotel. Listen. Let me give you guys some gem. All of you owner operator, let me teach you something. I'm going to drop some gems tonight. Every time you book a load, if you're going to be out for 2 weeks or a week, at least try to get $50 extra off each load so you can spend a night at a room. That means the broker will pay for 2-3 nights. You understand? That's how you do it out here. I don't know, man. These guys, man, but it's crazy, Mark. It's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we can move on. So this next topic we're gonna talk about the Exodus. We're gonna take you guys. We're gonna do a little history lesson, and it's gonna lead up to today, and hopefully give people more of an understanding of how trucking works, how trucking has gotten to this point as far as the spot market. I don't think a lot of people understand, you know, how the spot market came about. You know,
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, Mark. I don't mean to cut you off, but read that comment that Peppy said in the She said she disagreed.
I read it. You want me to put it on the screen?
Yeah, what did she say?
She said she disagreed. She said she owned a cleaning company. She believes women keep the house cleaner more than men. I mean, maybe it's a market. Maybe because she in Texas. Up here is not. It's not like that. It's not like that up here.
If she own a cleaning company, of course, if you're paying somebody to clean house, and they're women, they're gonna clean.
I guess when she walked into people's homes, she's walked in. I guess both.
I disagree.
Men's,
you got some nasty women, just like you got some nasty, dirty guys. It's equal. You got some nasty women. Yeah.
Here's how I look at it. If you look at a woman's car versus a man's car, forget the house. Let's look at a car. A man keeps their car clean, inside, out. You go in a woman's car, you got shoes all in the back seat, food all on the seat, clothes, club shoes, sneakers, workout stuff. It's just shit everywhere. You open the trunk, it's just shit.
But you got guys who are like that too. You got guys who they open their cars.
And see, here's the thing. I don't know because see, all of my everybody I know is riding. You ain't riding, $150,000 Benz with shit all over the place. You're not riding Rolls Royces with shit everywhere, bro.
Yeah, but
You know what I'm saying?
she's probably
So hold
talking
on.
on the average though. She's probably talking on the average.
But see, she's in a market. She's in a southern market, and what I've learned is that people in different markets, men, women, carry themselves different. Up here in Chicago, bro, I'm just keeping it 1,000, bro. It's trifling. It's trifling, bro.
So
Down
you're saying the
south,
girl? So you saying the girls in Chicago are filthy with
Chicago,
their car?
I'm not saying filthy, but I'm saying I've noticed a difference in markets.
Oh yeah, well the woman in the
You know what I'm
north,
saying?
you got New York, New Jersey, I mean New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, the Northeast. All of these women up here, because they live in a faster environment, and I think the women that are more down south, you got your Louisiana, Mississippi. I think those women are more marriage material,
Hey,
clean, stuff like that. You get
but
what I'm
here's the
saying?
thing. Here's the thing. I know people, dudes. Like, listen, I've went on dates with chicks and stuff like that, and the first time they come to my crib, they be like, "Wow, you like one of the first dudes I dated in a long time that actually has furniture." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Man, a lot of these
Right.
dudes, man, they have an apartment. They got a big TV with a video game, some folding chairs, and a mattress on the floor. I'm like, for real? Yeah, but they'll have like a bunch of sneakers and stuff like that. Like, so I get it. I've had women tell me dudes won't have like fully furnished crib, like fully furnished.
Yeah,
But
but you
then,
got but you
then,
got women who are like that too. You got
hold on,
women
hold on.
that
But
got
me,
you know.
right? But me dating women, I know, and these are beautiful women. These are women that are like beautiful women. But then, like, if you go to their crib, it's just
Yeah, but you got
shit everywhere,
no
like
no.
shit all over the
Yeah,
place.
yeah,
Clothes,
but
like they
you
could
got
get dressed to go out to a club. They could literally just clean up the crib. And I'm not like
right.
saying like nasty shit. I'm saying they could
Uh-huh.
literally just clean up the crib, spend all day clean up the crib. Okay, they going out that night. It's like going through the drawer, pulling shit out the drawer, tossing everything. It's like it's back messed up again. They just can't go pick that off the shelf, open the drawer, take these panties out or these and just close the stuff. Or they take stuff out and they don't put stuff back. They just leave it. And then you do that every day and it's just stuff just piles on top. Me, I'm OCD.
Let me ask you a question.
I can't
Let me
leave
ask you a
nothing.
question.
Cause see, I
Hold
know
on,
what it's. I know what
uh-huh.
it's like not to have, bro. I grew up projects. I know what roaches. I've dealt with it, bro. So it was rough. So I don't never want to go back to that. So I'm OCD with it. I grew up hard, bro. It was rough as a
I
kid,
get that.
bro. So
I get that. But
I don't.
let me
And hold
ask
on,
you a
let me
question.
finish. Let me finish. I'm gonna let me land, and I'm gonna let you finish. And then
Right.
owning a moving company, especially them early days when I got to go into people's crib, I've seen bed bugs. I can
Mm-hmm.
tell you stories. Like, so that further, like I'm OCD with it. Like cleanliness to me is like next to God. Like I don't play, bro, because I done went to people's house. I didn't see maggots on the stove. I went into this lady house and it had bed bugs. And I told the lady, and they had a crib in the room. And I said, ma'am, we not moving. You got bed bugs. How you know, ma'am? Look at the. You see these dried up stuff in the seam in the bed? I said, if I flip the mattress over on that baby crib, I guarantee it's bed bugs under that mattress in that baby crib. I flipped the baby little crib mattress over the biggest bed bug of them all in the baby crib, bro. So like, I don't play games when it comes to cleanliness. I don't play no games. I don't sit on my bed with my outside clothes on. And when I go to the gym, I immediately come home. I strip that shit. Don't even go in the hamper. It goes right in the damn washer. I wash every day, dog. Just
I
from being
used to be
in a moving business, I'm OCD, bro.
yeah. Listen, I know what you're talking about. I used to be a cable technician. I used to be in the woman house. I know exactly what you're talking about. A lot of women over here are nasty. I get that. But what I'm saying is that to look at the scale to say is man more nastier or woman more nastier, I think a lot of women are more nastier or untidy. They're more not kept. They don't keep the place up when more men will take their stuff up. I think that is true. But if you go to a club, 90% of the time you go to a club, right?
Mm-hmm.
A chick ain't gonna take you home.
What? What are you
She
talking
ain't
about?
gonna take you to her place. She
Oh
gonna want
no,
to come to
yeah.
your place.
But
And the reason why most of the time they want to come to your place is because of the same thing that you're talking about. A
well,
lot of them, a lot of them live with people. They live with their sister, their mom, whatever. They don't, you know what I mean? And if
well,
they do can take somebody home, they won't take them home
well.
because, you know what I mean?
I could tell you married because you only a goofy would go home with a chick because that could be a setup. Like that's rule number one. If you gonna do that, you bring the
I'm
chick
not,
to where
I'm
you
not
at.
saying, Mark,
You
I'm
don't.
not,
I hear
no,
what you're
I'm not
saying.
saying, Mark, even if you take a girl out on a date, the first time, she ain't gonna bring you back to her place.
I get what
It
you're
doesn't
saying,
matter if it's
but
the
you
first
shouldn't.
time, second time, third time. Women
Mhm.
are not accustomed to jump and taking guys to their place because of the same situation you're talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
You get what
yeah.
I'm
I
saying?
mean, I mean,
So and I'm old school. So me taking girls back to my spot is you're talking about some goofy shit now. Girl, try that shit, she'll end up in a barrel. You get what I'm saying? Like you're not gonna come in my house and then make text and phone call some homeboy over. You get
but
what I'm
see when
saying?
they come to your house, you a little bit. You can watch their movement, be a little bit more secure. You're not gonna go to sleep and
But
like
see,
only a
but see
goofy
when I
would do
was
that.
doing, but see when I was doing that back in the days, those type of women versus the woman that you're talking about now is a different era.
Yeah,
You
it's
get
a
what I'm
different
saying?
era now. You can't
Right. So,
go meet no chick
right.
in no club and go to their crib. Only a goofy would do that. Like you,
Exactly.
that's a straight
Exactly.
no. You know what I'm saying? So you
Yeah.
do a telly,
Yeah.
you
You
do a
can't.
telly, or you could bring her back to your crib. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how your crib is fortressed up. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
I'm in a building. I'm in a building, so you got to come through a lot of different. You know what I'm saying? I understand
Right.
a house, but most cases, 9 times out of 10, if you gonna pull a situation like that from a club, you go to a telly. You see what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying. They not gonna want to do it because their cribs ain't in order.
Right.
Uh,
Exactly. Right.
but
That's
man,
all I'm saying.
it shouldn't even get to that point
Because
anyway. You shouldn't
even
even
if
want
you
to go
meet
to
a
their crib.
girl, even if you meet a woman tonight, get her number, set up a date, go on the date. Two times you go on a date. The third time she's gonna want to come to your crib. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because a lot of the time it's because of that same situation. The stuff is not tidy. The car is dirty. Women have a lot of excuses for, you know, you walk in their place and like, oh, I'm sorry, and whatever it is. Oh, I'm in the middle of laundry. Oh, It's always some cleaning up when a guy comes around. They never. The woman that actually complete keeping their place to order, they don't have to worry about having those type of conversations. So, I mean, it's sad, but yeah, a lot of women just need to clean their stuff up, just like a lot of guys. But does man keep their stuff more in order? Of course.
Yeah, I think so. I can only speak for my market and
Yeah.
just my 43 years of just dating women and having homies and just
And go back to what you're talking about beauty. You were talking about beautiful women.
the most
Some of
beautiful women got the
the
most
most
messiest cribs.
nastiest. Exactly. That's what I'm about to tell you. This
So
is why. This is why. And the ones I talk about, they got their body. They got a nice body. Look at my body. Ain't nobody care about your body and all that shit, man. No, you a nasty chick. You funky rooster apartment. You know what I mean?
hmm.
That you paying $1,500 for. You know what I mean? So, it's sad, but man, listen, man. I used to be a cable tech. I know these type of girls.
you
They got
you
girls driving Mercedes Benz out here,
hold on. I'm
and
gonna
they're
tell you.
dirty.
I'm gonna tell you the new thing. So like all the bottle chicks, all the bad bottle chicks that work in the club, right? So they gotta live, work, and play. They
Uh-huh.
try to live, work, and play in the same area. They not gonna live. They gotta live downtown. They gotta live in a high rise with all the modern amenities and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So Here's the thing: how they supplement paying that high rent, $4,000 or $5,000 a month. It's 3 or 4 of them living in that 1-bedroom apartment.
Right,
So whoever's
right.
contributing the most to the rent obviously gets the bedroom. The other 2 or 3, they got blow up mattresses. Ask me how I know. Obviously, being in the moving business, you know what I'm saying? I've heard stories from my workers, and I've gone into these cribs, excuse me, and seen this firsthand. You know what I'm saying? They live in these high rises, these fancy high rises, but it takes 2 or 3 or 4 of them to supplement paying uh uh that high rent.
Yeah,
You see
they
what I'm
can't
saying?
live on
So,
their own. They can't live on their
hell
own.
no.
They're the same
Hell
one
no.
coming on the internet telling you they're boss bitches and boss chick,
But see,
and they can't pay their rent.
see, and I know it because I see it.
You know what I mean?
I
You got
see it.
girls who are renting house with their friends. She live with her friend. She live with her friend and her mama, and the rent is $2,600, and all 3 of them is struggling, and they're going through a depression, and they got to pay for the mortgage, the rent. Then they got to turn around pay for the utility. Then when you look outside, they're driving a Mercedes car that's $750. Then they got a daughter. They got to take care of that. The little sucker that they have the kid with, he ain't paying no child support, or he's just paying $75 because dude got a $3 hour job. You get what I'm saying? So these women are struggling. You see what I'm saying? And then when the dude not living in that type of lifestyle, then they live in the high-rising building. They got 4 of them living there. They live in their phone, keep finessing guys. Those little suckers that like to see women in their tight-up clothes. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I don't know. This new generation is off. They're off, man. But yeah.
he said
So
he said all the girls in Cancun for the hip hop festival fortified deep to a room. And you know how they be when they take that girls trip. They never
We-
had their own room. They always
we
fortified deep.
went to Miami. We went to Miami. Me and my brother went to Miami. It was I
All
think
right,
it
man.
was,
They starting to get mad, man. We gotta move on, man.
No. I'm just saying. We went to
They
Miami.
getting-
We went to rent a boat, right? It was 5 girls there. They asked what the price was, and all of them have a huddle. They got a huddle of how they're gonna pay for the boat. You see what I'm saying? Hey, man.
All right, let's move on, man. You got-
Let's
some
move
people,
on. 'Cause
Some people
you
get
know what I mean?
Romero getting mad, man. Let's get back to the money. Hey, man. Sometimes we go off topic, man. It happens, man.
I
It
mean,
is
we're
what
having
it
a
is.
conversation. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
we just having a
It's just,
conversation,
you know what I mean?
man. Hey, for you know what? Forget that. You know what, Romero? We've talked about Yellow going out of business, people not getting their pension. Man, we had to lighten the mood up, son. Man, like every
said
week it's
non-value.
about it's about
Yeah.
sad. No, it's value. It's value in it.
It's
It's value in
yeah.
it because it ain't depressing. We had to lighten the mood because we finna get right back into depressing. So since y'all want to get right back into depressing, let's get right back into some more depressing truck news. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like,
Romero spoiled
he spoiled the fun. He spoiled the little
spoiled the
fun.
fun. Yeah. His wife probably listening, you know.
Yeah.
You gonna let these guys talk about women like this and we watch it?
Hold on. All right, let's get into this. Let's get into this situation.
Yeah, play the video. Play the video, man.
Hold on. Why does it keep moving? Hold on.
Shout out to everybody, man. Hit the like button, man. Hit the like button.
Let me move us out the way. Let me play Buddy.
Look around. Okay, across the street, we have a delivery truck carrying food to offices, construction sites all around. Sheetrock, where'd it come from? On a truck. Nothing moves without us. Many owner-operators now are homeless. They cannot afford to have a home. This is my home. I live with my truck, whether I stay in a hotel or I sleep sitting up in.
Now he's a box trucker. He ain't a semi trucker, so y'all pay attention now. He's a box trucker.
The driver's seat. This is my home. Why? I work.
And he live in his truck. His box truck is his home. Hold on now. Let me start
Right.
that again. Hold on.
Sheetrock, where'd it come from? on a truck. Nothing moves without us. Many owner-operators now are homeless. They cannot afford to have a home. This is my home. I live with my truck, whether I stay in a hotel or I sleep sitting up in the driver's seat. This is my home.
Man,
Why?
say he sleeps sitting up, Kirk.
12 to 14 plus hours a day. But I don't earn enough.
This is Billy Randall. He's been a long-haul trucker for over 30 years. We're working on a new series now about jobs in America that used to be stable and middle class and are all but gone. One of the most dramatic shifts from good job to bad job is in the trucking industry. Trucking used to be one of the most coveted blue-collar jobs in America. The average trucker made $110,000 a year.
And this was before deregulation in 1980. So the equivalent to of what $110,000 back then was a lot more than what $110,000 is worth now. But this is prior to deregulation. I want you guys to remember that term, deregulation. I'm going to break that down to you later.
That's enough to raise a family and have a home. Now many of them, like Billy, are barely making minimum wage.
We're tired of being the back of the economy because our backs are broken.
We're going to unpack exactly what happened through the stories of two truckers that are struggling. One who's been a driver for decades and one who's trying to make a life for himself in the industry. This is The Classroom for More Perfect Union, and today we're looking at why truckers can't make a living.
All hours work, all hours paid.
I met Billy at a rally in DC with the Truckers Movement for Justice.
Hit that like button.
Billy's a little bit of a wild man. He's currently trying to lead strikes in the coal mines of West Virginia and the oil fields of Texas, and I think he might pull it off. Billy has a vision that truckers would be organized again after 40 years of not having power. Let's go back a little bit. This might be what you think of when you think of a trucker. An outlaw, a guy on the road with nothing to lose. But in reality, a lot of them lived pretty regular lives and went home to their families every night.
It was a hard, dirty job, but it was a good job.
The truckers I met in Washington all had the same complaints.
A breakdown, honestly, it'll put me out of bed.
I don't want to lose my company. I don't want to lose my trucks. I don't want to lose my home.
The pay is low, the cost of doing business is high. Let's get back to Billy. Like 350,000 other drivers in America, Billy is an owner-operator, meaning he owns his own truck. It also means he's responsible for the overhead, repairs, insurance, maintenance. And if something goes wrong, it can cost him.
Today the truck broke down. A very minor repair, but nonetheless, it created a problem with the delivery. I've got, not to publicize this, $1,200 to my name.
Truckers like to say if you bought it, a truck brought it. Truckers take great pride in that work, but that work can often be pretty tough for them.
This is Steve Vaselli, a former truck driver who's been studying the industry for over a decade. Steve says one of the main causes of wage decreases was deregulation. Before the 1930s, trucking was unregulated and stuck in boom and bust cycles. The economy would be strong and
Now listen to this part. I know I always talk about boom and bust, so listen to what they're saying.
would be moving in trucks. And then suddenly there would be a downturn and truckers were out of work. Trucking is so crucial to the economy that in 1935, the federal government started heavily regulating the industry by setting shipping prices and limits on how many trucks could be on the road.
The federal government essentially set the rates for trucks. If you were going to move steel from Youngstown to New York, you would go to something called the Interstate Commerce Commission, and you would say to them, hey, my costs to move this steel are $1 a mile. And the Interstate Commerce Commission would say, well, okay, then you can charge $1.06 per mile to your customers, whether it's US Steel or a mom and pop, a machine shop that needs to move it.
Freight was moved from terminal to terminal, where local deliveries would combine smaller loads together and send them to the next terminal through long-haul truckers.
All right, so let's process that real quick. So prior to 1980, the trucking industry was regulated. All right, the trucking industry was regulated prior to 1980. All right, prior to 1980, the ICC, the Interstate Commerce Commission, set the rates for truckloads. There was no spot market rate. The ICC set the rates, right? And this is why you guys always hear about how truckers were just rich and just making a shit ton of money prior to deregulation. This is why. All right. Truckers were really, really getting it good prior to deregulation. What Kirk does partials, this was the norm for trucking prior to deregulation. Like the video says, most truck drivers were home every night because they would move stuff to a terminal. That stuff would get dropped off, and then a long haul trucker would take it from that terminal to the final destination. After deregulation is when you would now get what you get now. One pick, one drop, where semi trucks are picking something up in New York and then they're taking it all the way to California. That wasn't the way trucking was ran prior to deregulation. All right. Let me just go back a little bit because I wanted to stop and touch on that point real quick.
Machine shop that needs to move it.
Freight was moved from terminal to terminal, where local deliveries would combine smaller loads together and send them to the next terminal through long-haul truckers.
What that meant for drivers was a lot of them were home every night and they had regular schedules. It also meant that those terminals were easier to unionize.
The whole industry was unionized and regulated under the National Master Freight Agreement, negotiated by the Teamsters, which was one of the most powerful unions in the United States. That all ended when Jimmy Carter signed the Motor Carrier Act of 1980 in an effort to lower prices for consumers. This was a bipartisan
That was the Deregulation Act.
effort.
You probably don't think of truckers as timid people, but that's because you haven't seen how some of them react when you say competition.
Competition. That's what I've been focusing on a lot on Thursday nights. Why the lady got mad at me the other night because I talked about competition, and she brought up her son because I talked about taking food out of other people's mouth because I said this is competition. You got to get it for yourself, your business, your employees.
Republicans, Democrats.
This is what the government wanted to do. They wanted to create competition. That's why I always say when people say, tell people to stop taking cheap freight, that's bullshit. Don't say that shit because it was created for competition to drive the rates down. It's kill or be killed. It's cutthroat. It's dog eat dog. It was created like that purposely, and I'm going to tell you why.
An industry were all involved. And in a way, deregulation worked. Prices went down for consumers and rates went down for shippers.
Boom. Prices went down for consumers and rates went down for shippers. Prior to deregulation, rates were a little bit higher because the ICC set the rates. A trucker would go to the ICC and say, hey, it cost me $1 to move this product. Okay, so you know what? Okay, then you can charge the customer $1.05, whatever, right? Because you got to make your profit margin. By deregulating, it produced competition. Now you got competition. With competition, everybody's fighting for that load, and people are bidding, driving the rates down. Now, when the rates go down, that's passed along to the shipper, which is ultimately passed along to the consumer, right? For things that you see on the shelf, right? Because whatever you pay MSRP, that MSRP price includes everything from the actual material that's being used to the labor that it takes to produce that product, all the way up into the shipping, and that cost is included in that MSRP plus whatever the profit margin that they're adding on top of it.
And it opened up competition so that the larger stores, think Walmart, Kmart, Costco, could haggle.
Let me. I stopped this. I'm gonna rewind it a little bit.
Democrats and industry were all involved. And in a way, deregulation worked. Prices went down for consumers and rates went down for shippers. And it opened up competition so that the larger stores, think Walmart, Kmart, Costco, could haggle for lower prices. Remember that under regulation, the government set shipping prices for all stores, big and small. So deregulation brought us the world of cheap shipping that we live in now.
What that meant for truck drivers was a lot of really bad jobs.
Thousands of smaller trucking companies went out of business in the 1980s, and something else changed that made the job harder. Freight started moving point to point. From the shipper's location.
And this is when freight started moving one pick, one drop. It wasn't like that before. Truck drivers were home every night. It didn't go all the way from here all the way across country. It went from here to a terminal, and then from a terminal to another terminal, and then from a terminal, however long it needed to go to get to where it needed to get to, depending on how far the difference is how it goes. Truckers were home every night.
All the way to the customer.
For drivers, that means that, they're living out of the truck. They're essentially working 24 hours a day, and they can't know exactly when they're going to be home.
And the thing is, truckers don't make overtime. That's right. Truckers are one of the few workers that are exempt from overtime in our labor laws. So a trucker can be working 100 hours a week and not make close to minimum wage. all of these changes have created a labor crisis. The turnover rate at most companies is now well over 100%. That's why every year the American Trucking Association claims there's a driver shortage.
80,000 drivers short amid the supply chain crisis.
This historic trucker shortage again.
And in less than a decade, it's projected to get even worse.
Billy is 71 years old, and the average driver is 48 years old.
Hey, don't be Billy. hey, shout out to Billy. But the whole purpose of me and Kirk, because we don't want you to be Billy. But shout out to Billy, though. Don't be Billy.
The industry needs younger drivers to enter the business and stay, like Caleb Fernandez. Unlike Billy, he's a company driver, and he's paid by the mile. He also uses the company's truck. While Caleb doesn't have the same expenses as Billy, he has to worry about something else. Surveillance.
That's a bad deal.
The biggest problem solving that I do in my day.
Yeah.
Mark, mileage payment is a bad deal.
Hey, he's
that's a raw deal.
That's a bad deal. I'll tell you how to get money. If you want to be a company driver, I'll tell you what lane to get money in. But yeah, mileage, you don't. That's another topic for another day, man. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Is working so that I can be legal in the regulations.
In 2017, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration introduced electronic logging devices.
So I've got 6 hours left that I can work until tomorrow.
These logs are meant to keep the drivers from working too long and to make sure they take breaks. But what it really does is mess with trucker autonomy.
It tracks my location and knows if I've been moving the truck around, so I can't lie and say that I've been driving less hours than I have been.
Man, they in trucking too?
What did I say last night about the ELD? Everybody's trying to figure out how to go around the ELD. That was the biggest thing we were talking about last night. You see what he's pointing out? The same thing I told them. Every time you move that truck, that ELD knows. But everybody want to know how to go around it. Stick around. We're gonna tell you how to do it. Go ahead.
So it lets you know on the e-log if you're doing something illegal. Man. It'll warn you, hey, wait a minute.
Drivers start the clock and have 14 hours to work before they have to take a 10-hour rest. During that shift, they can only drive for 11 hours and take 3 hours for stops or deliveries. The problem is, they might get stuck waiting on a load, or they might break down, or they might need to take a long nap, but the clock keeps running.
A lot of shippers and receivers will be unreliable in terms of their appointment times. And so then that can ruin my hours of service. It can also ruin my next pickup or drop. It can be pretty stressful as well.
And because a lot of drivers like Caleb are paid by the mile, they want to keep moving.
It forces drivers to drive in dangerous conditions and when they're tired.
Truckers have been keeping logs for decades, but before they were paper logs. And the fact is, those were easier to fake. And look, we're not advocating for cheating. These safety regulations are really important. No one wants drivers on the road that have been working for too long or who are tired. The problem is, these e-logs are really restrictive, and drivers can't make their own schedule. The laws as they're written are really hard to follow. And besides, e-logs aren't actually making the roads safer. A 2019 study showed that since the e-logs were introduced, accidents didn't go down. They stayed about the same. But something else went up. Drivers were speeding more to make up for the lost time on the road.
We've put them in this, trade-off between, their paycheck and safety, unfortunately.
Billy thinks that one way to encourage safe driving is to increase pay. Then drivers aren't as worried about...
Hey, somebody send me Billy's cash app. I got something for Billy.
We want to be paid. All hours worked, all hours paid. We're sitting loading.
Somebody find me Billy's cash app.
Minutes at a given facility, we want to be paid for it.
Billy and Caleb both love what they do and want to stay in the industry. We started this video looking at why trucking used to be a good job and why it isn't anymore. Deregulation made a lot of products cheap, really cheap, but at a serious cost to workers. Like Billy said, nothing moves in this country without truckers, and they should get paid for all the time they're working. There's a bill right now that would change the Fair Labor Standards Act and make truckers eligible for overtime. Second, safety regulations need to give drivers more flexibility. Truckers can track their time and take breaks without such strict oversight. And Billy thinks that ultimately, the job won't get any better unless drivers themselves take action.
It wasn't like this when we were organized, and we're the only ones that can change it. owner-operators and company drivers. When we organize, then things will change.
Thanks for watching
Hey,
The Classroom for more Perfect Union. Like we said, we're
So,
Oh man.
so here's the thing. Billy wants to go back to regulation, which, you know, the truckers wanted to deregulate, and they deregulated. And deregulation was good for the big box stores, right? Because now they could drive down prices because they were saving on shipping, because now competition was created. And that's why I be telling people all the time, you know, stop taking cheap freight, because when you say that, you sound ignorant. And this proves that when you say that, you sound ignorant. The key to this game is to keep your costs as low as possible so that you can be on the winning side of the bid. All right? Because this is what people wanted. All right? And they got it. Now, I want to pull something else up. I want to read something else, and I guess you was going to say something, Kirk, while I pull this up.
No, I'm saying I'm saying for people who was watching the live last night, like I said, this ELD is everybody's enemy. It's everybody's enemy. And somebody sent me an email last night because I told them that you can use that ELD like a manual logbook. You get what I'm saying? You can literally go in and use it like a manual logbook, just like back in the days. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta hit the tweak button.
I don't think Billy, but see, here's the thing. I don't think Billy. Oh, you talking about? Okay, okay.
Billy don't know that. Yeah. You gotta hit the tweak button. You gotta hit the tweak button in the ELD.
Oh, well,
You
see,
see what I'm
Billy,
saying?
Billy been trucking since the 70s. Billy was around before deregulation. Billy probably know all the tricks of the trade. You know what I'm saying? Because Billy saw brighter days. Listen, truckers prior to deregulation were equivalent to, like, what would I equate a trucker in the 60s and the 70s to now? I would equate a trucker in the 60s and the 70s to what a surgeon would make now. I would compare a trucker in the 70s to a surgeon now. They were neck and neck. Deregulation hurt the truckers, and it helped the consumer, and it helped the shippers, and it helped the big box stores. Let me pull this up. Let's run through this real quick. Why does it not pull up? Let's pull this up. Let me move us over here. I guess I can make us a little bigger now. And then what I want to do is I want to run that bit. All right, let me run this up real quick. How a little known 1980 law slashed pay for millions of truck drivers and created big box retail as we know it. Big box retail wouldn't exist if it wasn't for deregulation. There would be no Amazon if it wasn't for deregulation. All right. Let's run through this article. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it all the way through. No, do I want to read it all the way through? Yeah, let's start. Let's read it. When Larry Hine was a working man, he drove a truck 8 hours a day. He saw his family every night, owned his home, sent both of his kids to college, and took his wife on vacation to Hawaii whenever he could land some overtime. This is what a trucker could do prior to deregulation. He saw his family every night. He owned his home, sent both of his kids to college, took his wife on vacation to Hawaii. Hawaii is very expensive, guys. It's cheaper to go to Dubai than it is to Hawaii. I swear to God. All right. As a member of the Teamsters, Hine was guaranteed good health care and a pension. He retired at 51, receiving a cake and a $250 gift card to a fishing store on his last day. $250 back then was a lot of money. All right. In 2020, truck drivers work a medium 60 hours a week, according to a 2010 study by the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health. 1 in 5 reported logging more than 75 hours. At the same time, their pay has sunk In the late 1970s, driver salaries were up to 50% higher than they are today, even when accounting for inflation, according to Wayne State University economics professor Michael Belzer. In the U.S., the median salary for a $1.9 million truck driver stands at $45,260. Nearly 40% lack health insurance coverage compared to 17% of the working population. A lot of truckers now can't even afford to, well, owner-operators, I should say, can't even afford to pay for their own health insurance. From his home in Northern California, which he built after he retired, the man retired from trucking back then and built the house from the ground up. I'm saying this stuff so I can give you guys a compare and a contrast from what trucking was prior to deregulation and what trucking is today. It was a totally different ball game. Hines told Business Insider he was shocked at those changes. They've depressed the market so bad, Hines saying, you can't make a living on that. Give me a break. To today's driver, his was a good life in a golden age, and an age that many say ended on July 1st, 1980, when President Jimmy Carter put his name to the Motor Carrier Act of 1980, the law that deregulated the trucking industry. Starting in 1935, the federal government set the price to move a good from one city to another. So the Interstate Commerce Commission set the prices. It was regulated. Whether the company was a small one-person owner-operator all the way up to a big company that moved product from one place to another like U.S. Steel. Trucking companies had to apply for a right to carry a certain good, which made it challenging for folk like Hines to even become a trucker. The 1980 MCA broke up that system, allowing anyone to haul any good to any place for any price they liked. The 1980 MCA broke up that system, allowing anyone to haul any good to any place for any price they liked. All right. And signing the bill, Carter said he hoped it would stymie excessive and inflationary government restrictions and red tape. The goal was to slash the price of goods. So they want to bring down retail goods by forcing truckers to compete with one another on the price of transportation. So in order to bring down the price of goods that you go into the store, they deregulated trucking so that truckers can compete with each other over prices, which would drive down the rates. Once again, this goes back to what I was talking about the other day, compete, when the lady came in the live and got mad. And this is why I always say, stop saying that shit, stop taking cheap rate. That is the nature of this business. This is what it is. Nobody's gonna not stop taking cheap rate. The system was designed for the rates to go down.
Right.
It would save consumers as much as $8 billion, $25 billion in 2020 each year, Carter said. All right. And he was right. But another of his claims, all the citizens of our nation will benefit from this legislation, lies on the shaky ground. All right. That didn't benefit the truckers. It benefited everybody but the truckers. It benefited the shippers. It benefited the consumers, obviously, right? Because shipping prices are built into the MSRP. It benefited the big box stores, right? Because now they could compete with each other by lowering prices. Because Carter's law also undermined one of America's leading blue-collar professions, which was the trucking industry. The biggest winners of the 1980 MCA, though, didn't earn a mention in Carter's signing statement, perhaps because neither the president nor anyone else saw them coming. And what this is talking about is your Amazons and your Walmarts, your big box stores. This is when the big box store, your Montgomery Wards and your Ames, some of y'all might not remember some of these stores, Zare, Gold Blast. This is when these stores really started to expand and take off. Experts say that today, big box and online retailers wouldn't exist. Experts say that today, big box and online retailers wouldn't exist if the government had not given up its ability to control freight prices. No Walmart, no Home Depot, no Amazon, and certainly no Amazon Prime. All right. Deregulating trucking created significant cost savings for America's emerging class of retail mega chains. Truckload shipment rates fell by 25%, adjusted for inflation from 1977 to 1982. Logistics, half of which are trucking costs, used to account for 16% of the U.S.'s annual expenditure. Even though we're shipping more goods than ever, it's now under 8%. Today, America's most successful retailers wield transportation as a weapon. Today, America's most successful retailers wield transportation as a weapon. It's why Jeff Bezos opened Amazon's first fulfillment center 5 years after he founded the website, and why Sam Walton used dropped by his Walmart drivers' break rooms bearing boxes of donuts to hear their thoughts about the business. If deregulation hadn't enabled these retailers to so ruthlessly rationalize their supply chain, America would certainly have access to fewer goods, and those goods would be more expensive. So it was like deregulation was a gift and a curse. It was a gift and a curse. The American consumer benefited, John Kent, an associate professor of supply chain management at the University of Arkansas Walton College of Business, told Business Insider. Those benefits were not free. The benefits weren't free. They were at the cost and the expense of the truckers. A low price has unintended costs that are not shown to customers. Shane Hamilton, a senior management lecturer at the University of York, said a low price includes hidden costs that someone other than the customer or the retailer have to pay. All right, we know who the retailer is, right? I mean, the person who's paying. Destructive competition in the trucking industry. All right, let's get good now. Hein blames the barking. That's the sound a semi made in the 1950s when it shifted gears before mufflers and automatic transmissions were common features. At 6 years old, Hein heard it from the back seat of the family car on a road trip. They had stopped at a truck depot in Bakersfield, California on their way to San Diego. The sound set Hein on his career path. It set this real manic thing in my brain off. Don't ask me why, he said. I fell in love with the noise and the sound of the mystery of people disappearing into the nighttime. Where are they going? After graduating from high school, Hines started to work his way up in the trucking industry, going from school bus driver to cement hauler to local truck driver for Consolidated Freightways, then the titan of the trucking world. In 2002, a year after Hines retired, Consolidated Freightways went bankrupt. We talked about that in the Yellow. Prior to Yellow going bankrupt today, Consolidated Freightways was the biggest bankruptcy case in trucking history up until today, now with Yellow, as did every trucking giant of the 20th century that couldn't compete in the deregulated industry. Most failed to last anywhere near that long. In 3 years following deregulation, 72 freight haulers shut down. Those companies together generate 16 of the entire industry's revenue. By 1986, some 4,000 trucking companies had shuttered. Tiny upstarts took their place. From 1980 to 1990, the number of trucking companies doubled. That slammed driver wages as trucking companies were forced to begin slashing payrolls to keep up with the new industry entrants. A Business Insider analyst showed that median wages for truck drivers have decreased 21% since 1980. In some urban areas, they've declined by as much as half. All right, here's a chart. All right, so the darker blue represents 1980. The lighter shade of blue represents 2017. Hourly median wages for heavy and trailer truck drivers. So in 1980 in my city, an average trucker in my city in 1980, this is how much truckers were making prior to deregulation, $34.39 an hour. And currently right now, $23.76. All right. The trucking industry is the rare area in the American business landscape where just about anyone can become a business owner. You or I can get into trucking industry tomorrow if we had a friend tendering us freight from whatever city to whatever city, Kent, the supply chain expert said. We could go to the bank, get money, and we're in business. That ease of entry, right, meant everything to people like Franklin Morales, who runs an 85 truck fleet in New York, New Jersey. We came here with the American dream. Uh-oh, here comes some immigrants. Kirk, you might want to listen to this. This might make your day. We came here with the American dream, Morales, who was born in the Dominican Republic, told Business Insider, and he made good on it. Today, there are nearly 207,000 trucking companies in the U.S., nearly 90% of which run 6 trucks or fewer. So a lot of these guys are independent sole owner operators. It's a rare example of what economists call perfect competition, Kent said. The industry has so many suppliers, those 207,000 trucking companies and so many buyers, every retailer and every manufacturer, that the price of most goods escape anyone's control and inevitably plummets. But that so-called perfect competition has rendered most truck drivers worse off. As University of Pennsylvania sociologist Steve Viselli wrote in The Big Rig, Trucking and the Decline of the American Dream. That was the guy that was in the video that we just watched. Viselli calls the result destructive competition. Competition so severe that it undermines profitability to the point that it causes underinvestment by firms, industry-wide inefficiency, market instability, and poor service quality. Why deregulation was a boon for some retailers? It's easy to forget that it hasn't always been possible to get any imaginable product at any location, like $20 packs of $50, like $20 packs of 50 clothing hangers, tangerines in South Dakota in January, sheet masks from South Korea at a Miami Sephora. But before trucking deregulation in 1980, the accompanying globalization of supply chains, getting such goods on the shelves would have been a struggle for a national retailer. So deregulation, like I said before, it helped big box stores. That's why the now bankrupt mega retailer Sears stationed its distribution center near America's railways during its peak in the mid 20th centuries, Viselli told Business Insider. We know that's Chicago. The Sears catalog, which first arrived in American mailboxes in 1893, contained hundreds of pages of products that took weeks to get to a consumer's doorstep. Rail was slow, but moving a wide variety of goods by truck was too complicated to be workable. A trucking company had to apply for the right to move a certain good from one city to another. If that setup stuck around today, it would render, say, Amazon's strategy of moving thousands of different types of parcels by truck across the country impossible. When Carter signed deregulation into law, Walmart in particular had a chance to expand its retail network. That's when Walmart started coming to cities like Chicago and other cities that it wasn't in. The company's network design involved placing distribution centers and stores within a one-day round-trip drive of each other. Truck drivers for Walmart have always been among the best treated in America. Today, their starting salary is pegged at about $87,500. Spurred by this new opportunity in supply chain design, Walmart grew far beyond its original business model, offering rural Americans low-cost goods. It went from 1/5 the size of Sears to twice as large. Local truck drivers have largely been replaced by drivers traversing the U.S. with 53-foot trailers full of goods for manufacturing or distribution centers. The vast majority of truck drivers are going to a big box retailer with a big truck, and that big truck has a non-union driver, Kent said. Everything's cheaper, but the cost is immense. Larry Hine doesn't think the cost savings were worth it. There was this shift in power for laborers, he said. Deregulation got a hold of the nation to drive down the cost of everything. The cost didn't go down much. The money just shifted from labor to the top 10. The prominent labor economist Lawrence Michel has said deregulation was never meant to help truckers. This was a conscious decision to make the trucking industry a dog-eat-dog industry. I say this all the time. Michelle, a fellow at the Economic Policy Institute, and shout out to Sophia. I hope you subscribe back to the channel. Since when I said it the other day, you got mad and upset. Now, I guess the economists and the professional people are saying the same thing I say. So the prices of trucking got cheaper, but the ability to make a living evaporated. The data supports Hine and Michel's arguments. Between 2000 and 2018, the lowest earning 1/10 of Americans saw their wages rise by 3%. The Pew Research Center found the wealthiest 1/10 enjoyed a 15.7% surge. Housing and healthcare costs have constantly outpaced wage growth. What Americans need to live has gotten costlier, but mass-produced goodies, TVs, clothes, toys made overseas, moved around the U.S. on a truck are cheaper than ever. It's part of what the journalists, that's pretty much it. That's the story. So That was a lot, but I needed to read all of that.
My question is,
Hit that like button,
if
y'all, man.
my question is, if Billy started so many years ago, how is that it's as his age is still struggling?
I think
Like where does all of his money go? Like
so.
what was his future man? Like, you know what I mean?
So I told a story about this guy Ron who lives in his truck. That when I rented the warehouse, he came with the warehouse. Like he's still there now. I went to visit the warehouse to shoot content for the channel, and he's still living on an abandoned lot with an abandoned warehouse in his truck. And he was trucking prior to deregulation. A lot of those truckers during the 60s and the 70s that were trucking prior to deregulation, they made a lot of money. All right. There was no regulation. There was no log book. There was none of that stuff. They could just run. And then when the log book came in, they could cheat it. All right. You know how these guys, me and my brother used to sit in the office, and Ron would tell me all this stuff. A lot of those guys back then was snoring coke. They was running.
Right.
They was running off coke. They was snoring coke, and they was staying up for days at a time running. They was getting to the bag. There was nothing stopping them from getting to the bag. Everything was laxed back then. Okay, so they had money, but like I can't speak for Billy, but Billy reminds me of Ron. Ron had money. He bought property. He did a lot of stuff. But over time, after deregulation, all that money and all that property and all that investment that he invested to when he was making that money, that coke habit didn't go away. These truckers that was running in the 70s, they was snoring coke, man. They were on drugs. That's how they were able to stay up. The habit continued to follow them.
But you got guys today you got guys who still driving trucks today that take coke.
I get what you're saying, but
I just think it's just bad business plan and bad business.
Bad.
Decision
That's
that they might make. But
that's what I'm saying.
I don't think you're poorly after. I don't think it's solely drug is responsible. I mean, look at that guy in the box truck.
He looked like he on drugs. He looked like he on drugs. Come on, Kirk. Like, let me pull it back up. Hold on. Where's my button at? He don't look like he on drugs.
Sheetrock.
Look at him.
Where'd he come from?
Look at him. Oh, how you pull him up? Let me make him bigger. Because maybe you can't see. Oh, let me pull him up.
Oh man. I don't think that's fair to say these guys was on drugs, Mark.
So he don't look like he. Look at him. Look at him.
Mark, you're saying that guys back in before deregulation lost because they were on drugs?
Yes, man.
I don't think
they was
so,
on.
man.
They were on. Listen, they didn't have to take no drops. They had to do. Kurt, listen. I talked to Ron. Listen, they was running for days, man. It wasn't. One, they was making a lot of money.
You got people. You got people are on drugs now.
I'm gonna try to get Ron on the channel, man. He gonna be hard to kind of follow because he talk. But I want to see if I can get him on the channel. Ron don't. He don't like me because I left the warehouse and man, boss, how you just gonna leave the warehouse, boss? Because he needed to come into the warehouse to use the bathroom because he live on his truck. So he kind of mad at me right now. But they were on drugs, man. Heroin, a lot of cocaine. This cocaine kept them up. Cocaine is an expensive drug. Cocaine is an expensive drug, man. It's expensive.
Oh, man.
You can't tell me he wasn't snorting cocaine in the 70s while he was driving his truck. You can't tell me he's not snorting cocaine now.
That's sad though, man. I guess they don't.
The man said he only got $1,200 to his name, man. Where is it at, man?
I lose my home.
The pay is low. The cost of doing business is high.
Problem with the delivery. I've got, not to publicize this, $1,200 to my name.
God damn it.
Kirk.
Hey, we gotta find his cash app, man.
Find his cash app, man. Somebody find his cash app. For whoever find his cash app, I got 50. I got a 50 ball for you, just for doing the research for me. Find his cash app. Find his cash app. Send me his cash app. I'm gonna cash app him, and I'm gonna get him on the channel. We're gonna try to get him on the channel for the season finale next week. I want to talk to Billy. I want to talk to Billy.
I want to
I
know.
want to ask Billy,
Man,
was he on cocaine, and is he still on cocaine? Billy
I don't know.
shaved his. He shaved his mustache, but he got all this. He just left all of this, but he shaved this.
Oh man, this guy.
Come on, man. Come on, Billy. Damn, don't be Billy, y'all. Don't be Billy. Don't be Billy. Hey, man.
Don't be Billy, man. Don't be
Yeah,
Billy.
man. So I think a lot of those truckers, outside of the one that they profiled in the story that I read in the article, who retired, who took his family to Hawaii every year. He put 2 kids through college, and then after he retired from trucking, he was able to build a house from the ground up. That's an example of someone who did right by his money during that time period. He's just an example. Him and then the guy that I know, Ron, are examples of people that just didn't do right. He's been trucking for all this time. He's in a box truck, bro.
So a lot of these guys, they have a lot of women back in the days and all of that stuff, right? They have a lot of women.
You got to understand, the 70s were a very hippie generation. It was a lot of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And truckers were equivalent. They made equivalent to what a surgeon would make now. You talking about $40 an hour average back in the 70s? Do the math. I mean, what was a loaf of bread back then? A nickel? 10 cents? They making $40 an hour with no limits on how much they can run. They were running nonstop. They were on cocaine, staying up for 2-3 days in a row.
Mark is brutal, man.
Man, I'm just keeping it. I'm gonna try to get Ron on the channel, man. But you know, he got a flip phone. He ain't gonna be able to come on the channel. I would have to bring him to my. I don't want him in my crib. He got a flip phone, man. I can't bring him on the channel. I gotta find a trucker that's still trucking from the 70s. Maybe we can get him on the phone, and then I could put the phone up to this. Let me call Ron. I'm gonna call him. He ain't gonna answer for me, man. Hold on, man. Let me see if I can get him on the phone. He gonna cuss me out, y'all. So
because you turn the garage, because you turn
man.
the
Before we left, I it's a long story. Hold on, let me see if I can get him on the phone.
You weren't a nice guy to Ron, man. I could tell you weren't a nice guy. You were hard.
Hold on. He ain't gonna answer. Last time he called me, he cussed me out.
Yeah, hello.
Ron, what's going on? You know who this is?
No.
This boss.
Boss who?
Mark.
Martin?
Mark.
What you want, man?
Man, I called to ask you a question. Hey, I came up to the yard like a month ago. You was in your truck. I didn't want to knock on the door, and I didn't know if you was sleeping or not. But I got a question. You was trucking in the 70s, right? Prior to deregulation, right?
Deregulation, yeah.
How was trucking in the 70s prior to deregulation? You didn't have to run a log or nothing like that? You was able to run for days straight? And
no, you always had to run a log.
But y'all got around that, right?
No, you gotta have a log.
But remember them stories you used to tell me about how you used to run for days and you would just, toot a little coke and stay up for days and run and stuff like that?
Yeah, but that was you still had to have a log.
But you knew how to manipulate the log, though, right?
Yeah, it's not hard to manipulate the log. You just gotta,
What was the average trucker making prior to the deregulation? Because trucking was a lot better in the 70s than it is now, right?
No, not really. But in the 70s, it was cheap fuel.
But the Interstate Commerce Commission set the rates because before the deregulation, when it became competitive, the rates were set by the government.
Yeah, that's true, but that didn't have nothing. I don't understand the question. What's the point? The deregulation is, yes, just when they gave everybody the ability to make their own race, but that fucked trucking up. Because before, when you wanted to change your rate, you had to submit it to the what's the name?
The what's the name? What's the
Commerce
what's the name?
Commission. You had to see, all the rates was set. So when you got ready to change the rates, you had to go to the Commerce Commission to get it cut.
Right.
But they were all set.
So when you was trucking, because I know you was an owner operator back then, did you have to go to the Commerce Commission or did you go through somebody to do that for you?
No. I always had a lease with a company. So I ran under their authority. That's one thing about it. You got to run under somebody's authority because, first of all, you got to pay your road use tax.
Right.
And you don't pay them without being with a company. You have to do all that paperwork. So what are you talking about doing?
No, I just wanted to ask you a few questions because I was researching trucking prior to deregulation, and I know you very knowledgeable because you were running. You're probably like the only person who I know that I could call that was running prior to 1980. How you doing now though? How you doing now? Is trucking still you doing good in trucking, or is it rough for you?
It ain't that good right now. Right now, I had some damn woman ran in front of me, so I'm off right now.
Oh, your truck down right now?
Yeah.
I'm gonna come visit you, man. I got something for you.
What's that?
I'm gonna cash app you something.
I can use it. I ain't no sense in me lying.
You got a cash app?
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna bring it to you in cash. I'll bring it to you this week.
Yeah, because I need some money because I've been off all of this week.
I'm gonna give you some money. I'm gonna bring it to you this week.
What are you talking about doing trucking? What kind of trucking you talking about?
I just wanted to talk to you about trucking prior to I just wanted to go down memory lane with you, man. I ain't talked to you in a minute. Last time I saw you, you thought I was trying to run you over when you was crossing the street on 87th Street.
Yeah, I remember.
When I was in the Escalade, you didn't see me because you thought you didn't know I had.
I seen you that day. What the hell you talking about?
Oh, you saw me? Okay.
Yeah, I jumped in front of you like you was gonna run me over.
Yeah, but I wasn't gonna run you over. I was just messing with you.
But, what's up?
Nothing, man. I'm gonna come up there and see you, man. Just keep the gate open. I want to come in. I want to come in the warehouse too, man. I need to.
You can't get in the warehouse unless you climb in the window. You know the church owns this warehouse.
The church ain't did nothing to it. I actually called the funny dude to see if they wanted to the alderman not gonna let them build. So I was in the process of trying to get it back, but I couldn't get the taxes $60,000. I'm not finna pay $60,000 a year for taxes. You know what I'm saying? They can't do nothing with it because Gregory Mitchell, he's not gonna let them build on it. Everything you said, you was right. You were right. So if don't nobody else tell you, you were right. Everything you told them, you were right. The Mitchell ain't gonna let them build on it because it's Stony Island and they can't dig. So you was right.
Jeffrey.
Yeah, they can't. So they bought it cash, so it's not like they really lost nothing because it's a church, so they don't have to pay taxes because they're exempt from tax. They do?
Unless they put a facility here.
So they've been paying taxes the past few years?
They didn't pay them a year prior, 17, 18, 19, 20.
So they owe about 6 to 18, about $250,000 then.
No, they bought them off.
Oh, they paid them off?
Yeah, it was $150,000.
Wow.
They've been paying them since then. I hope they paid them this time because I still ain't got my pen split from them fools.
Did they pay you off for the piece of land that you owe over there?
No, they didn't buy my land. They can't buy my land. That's my land. That was the bank took that from the boss.
Right.
So they can't buy my land, but they had the pen split, but they gave them the wrong division.
Well, you still own the land with the cell phone tower, right?
Right.
So you still making money off the cell phone tower, so you good.
Well, I ain't that good.
Why not?
Ain't that much money. It ain't that much money, man.
All right, I'm gonna come see you this week, man. I'm gonna bring you something, man.
Yeah, right. Man.
I swear to God, Ron, when have you ever known me not to be a person of my word? Never. I've never not lied. I'm gonna bring you something, man. I'm either gonna be in the just open the gate. When you see me open the gate, I'm either gonna be in the Escalade or a white Tesla truck, or my pickup truck.
I see you. Is your truck still up there at the?
Yeah, my truck's still at the other yard. They still at the other yard.
On Ashley?
Yeah.
You ain't doing much work with them.
No, I told you I'm divested. I've been divesting since 2021. I'm pretty much done. I don't.
Too much trouble, huh?
And no, it ain't no struggle. I made my money. What you want me to do, bro? Like, you want me to listen? I sold a lot of those trucks during the pandemic when everybody was buying trucks at high rates. So why would I hold on to trucks that I knew I wasn't gonna run no more because don't nobody want to work? If I could sell a truck for more than I paid for it 10 plus years ago, why wouldn't I not sell it? But yeah, the remaining trucks at the other yard.
Yeah, well, that crew you had, they was trifling anyway.
I mean, look how many people I had, Ron. Look how many people I went through.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what type of people you think I'm gonna get to do moving and carry furniture for delivery? You think I'm gonna get like college graduates?
No.
I know you didn't like none of the people. You didn't like none of the people I had, but
I mean, I ain't say I disliked them, but they was just trifling.
Oh, well, we know this already. So why you think I don't want to deal with it no more? I dealt with it many years long enough. I made my money. I did what I was supposed to do. I invested in stuff, so I had my exit plan. I got a better exit plan than the plan that I had because I was able to sell off trucks for more money than I bought them for. I mean, that deal only gonna come around once in a lifetime. I'm smart. But I'm gonna come up there, man. I'm gonna visit you, man. I'm gonna bring you a little paper, man, too.
Yeah, I could use a couple, $300, $400, $500.
I not listen. You can't tell me how much to give you.
I just said that how much.
I'm offering something. You got to take what I offer. You can't tell me what to give
you. Offer me, but I'm just telling you what I need. You got to give it to me.
All right, Ron. I'm gonna come see you this weekend.
When?
When? This week, Ron? I'm gonna be south one day this week. I gotta come out there and see Mama. I come see Mama a few times a week.
You still living on?
Yeah, man. I still live downtown. You said what?
I'll call you back if you don't show up.
You gonna call me back if I don't show up?
Yeah.
All right, Ron. All right, I'm gonna call you when I'm on my way out there.
Yeah, all right.
All right, bro. Now what I told you. Didn't I tell you? I told you. See, you thought I was capping. All them truckers from the 70s. I told him, man, I'm gonna give him something. He tell me what to give him. Hey, man. Hey, if I became
that man can't stand you, man.
You heard what I called. He said, man, it's Martin. Who? Martin? No, Mark. Hey man, what you want, man? Hey man, what you want, man?
Yo, he can't stand you for crap, bro.
Hey, I had him working for me too. Yep.
He sound like he's in a dream ball, man. What you
Hey man.
Yo. Oh man. He said that he need 550.
I said, man, I'm gonna give you something. He tell me what he need. Yeah, I need about 556. Man, listen, you can't. Somebody giving you something, you can't tell them what to give you. You just gotta be grateful for what they offering you. Wow, bro.
Oh man.
Man,
gotta
bro.
leave that man alone, man. Stop messing with the man, man.
Damn, man. Old Ron, man. He's still living in that yard in his truck, man. I told you
You
he
try
like
to
he like
you
Billy.
call a man trying to get the man to snitch on himself.
Man, bro, we talking about stuff that happened in the 70s, bro. He can't.
Oh man.
He can't.
This
You heard what
guy.
he said. He said a woman cut him off his truck down. He ain't got the money to get the truck fixed. He down. He down on his luck right now. He ain't got no money. He need money to get the truck fixed. I'm not getting the truck fixed.
So why you don't sell
I'm
the land?
because the land is all he got, man. So this is how it happened. So Ron was a trucker from the 70s, right? He made a lot of money like a lot of the truckers did. He bought this big plot of land where the warehouse was at, right? He bought that land in 1992 for $250,000. The land is 7 acres of land, and it has 2 warehouses. It has a warehouse in the back and a warehouse in the front, right? That land used to be operated by H.H. Healy, which was a bridge company back in the 50s and the 60s, right? So it was vacant for 30 years prior to when he bought it in 1992. He bought it in 1992. He tried to open up a car wash. That didn't work. Then he tried to utilize it for truck parking and charge truckers to park their trucks. It's 7 acres of land. That didn't become successful because that land sits right next to a viaduct that's only 12 feet in clearance. So truckers would have to go all the way around. So it just wasn't conducive of a just good enough spot to have truck parking. So he got behind on the taxes. Taxes are extremely high. You're talking about 7 acres of land. He got behind on the mortgage. He stopped paying. And then my landlord, which what became my landlord, this guy by the name of John, ended up buying the land, bailing him out. So he bought the land for $1 million, right? Which caught Ron back up, paid off Ron's loan. After Ron back taxes got paid, the loan got paid, Ron ended up with $400,000 difference in cash, right? So instead of him keeping driving his semi truck and having that $400,000 in the bank, once that $400,000 check cleared off the seller of that property, now once he sold the property, he kept a small pen, he kept a small parcel of land in the back, right? And he rents that piece of land to this company. I forget which one of those cell phone tower companies. I can't think of the name of it. So he kept that piece of land, right? But he had $400,000 in cash. So instead of him kept working, he came off, he stopped working, snorted more coke, started messing around with prostitutes, and started working for the person who bought the majority of the land. Which later on became my landlord. He ended up driving for him because he raced cars at NASCAR. So he ended up just transporting the car trailers from Chicago to Indy, right? Anyway, long story short, that landlord eventually just stopped paying on the property because the taxes is like $65,000 a year. High. He thought he could get them rezoned, right? And to reduce the taxes, but after 10 years of trying, he couldn't. So he gave up. He let the property go into foreclosure. And that's when the bank took it over. And then the bank said, here, we'll rent it to you. But listen, this is too much land for us to maintain. We don't want to pay for this. Maintain the land, and whatever the cost of you maintaining the land, we'll take it out the difference of the rent. The maintenance of the land was more than what the rent was, right? So I would just, maintain the land and then pay the difference. So I pretty much got the place rent free as far as to them, but I was paying for snow removal was like $600-700 when we would have a blizzard. Like it was not cheap. Cutting the grass was a couple $100 every time we got the grass cut. So anyway, long story short, I was there for the years that I was there, and then I started the cross docking lane, and then I never thought nobody would buy the warehouse because the taxes were so high. But a church don't have to pay taxes, or at least what I thought the church had to pay taxes. The property was for sale with $3 million. The church negotiated to buy the land for $750,000 cash. So they ended up buying it for $750,000 cash. And they've been there since. They just haven't built. They thought they were going to be able to build a mega church, but the land it's not. They can't build a mega church because it's Stony Island. They can't dig into the ground. So they kind of bought it not knowing. So then now they kind of stuck with it. But he still owns his small piece of land on the backside of that land, and in that parcel piece of land that he owns, it's a cell phone tower. So he gets like a monthly or a yearly stipend from I forget the name of that cell phone tower company, but he gets paid through them. And then pretty much the
Right.
money that he gets paid through them, he has to end up giving that to the city to pay the taxes off that PIN number for that piece of land. So since I've known him, he's always had ups and downs. He just ain't been doing good. So, but I'm gonna run up there and run him some bread. I ain't gonna get his truck fixed though, but yeah, man. Yeah, man. So I hope everybody learned something today, man. I don't
Definitely.
know. What you gotta say though, Kurt?
No, I mean, no, for real. Yeah, people. I mean, it just amazed me to see people from back in the days don't have anything now, especially like Billy and like guys like that. But I guess it's not surprising. I think people back then versus now. I just think that looking at these people now versus, I mean, looking at these people from the past versus the generation that we're in now, I think it's gonna get worse. You're gonna look a few years later and ask yourself, what was these guys doing? But these are the same type of guys. You know what I mean? And everybody have their own choices that they make in life. But yeah, this is what it
Mm-hmm.
is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Somebody said, "What's that ELD trick?" You wanna divulge that, or you
Nah,
wanna?
man, that's not for the internet, man. Come
It's
on,
not for the
man.
internet. Not for
You
the
think I'm
internet,
gonna
y'all.
sit on the internet and tell and sit down and teach you how to use the ELD? Oh man, come on, man.
I almost
That's
slipped
like
up and said it earlier when you said wait. I almost slipped up. I forgot
I,
we was
I saw
online.
I saw somebody said they want me to teach her what's the tweak button, but
Somebody don't know what the tweak button is?
yeah, you can
All they
you
gotta
can
do is start
use
tweaking.
you can use the ELD like a manual logbook. It's just ways you gotta it's not
They said
complicated.
what's your IG page? They're gonna message you and DM and see if you're gonna DM it to them.
Man.
Hey
Yeah.
man.
Let me say this about the ELD, right? This
Yeah.
ELD thing come into play, and it's been a controversy. It's been a lot of people sit down and it's been so much about this ELD. And like I said in the live last night, when you learn to use something and you
Mm-hmm.
become good at it, the more you study it, the more you learn it,
Mm-hmm.
is you become better at finding out how to use it and go around it. There's just one thing that you do with this ELD that you can and it's funny because when I first started to use the keep trucking motive, I hated that thing. I did not like it, right? And I met
Mm-hmm.
this guy, and he's from North Carolina. I was at a truck stop, truck wash, getting my truck washed and stuff like that. We were talking and stroke up a conversation. And he said, I said, we ended up talking about something about trucking and the hours and brokers and want us to deliver load. And he said, man, I stay out 7 days a week. I don't never stop running. I said, really? I said, how you do that? What about your ELD? He said, man, what about it?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you don't have, you don't, what you run 70 hours a week? He go, man, listen, man. I use that joker like and he's one of them salt guys, so he don't care. You know what I mean? He
Mm-hmm.
said, man, you can use that joker like a logbook. He said,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know to use it like a logbook? And I said, what do you mean? He said, yeah, just like how you can go in and write your hours and cheat the logbook, you can cheat the ELD. I said, really?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you gotta keep trucking, right? I said, yeah. He said, okay, let me show you. Took me to my truck and he showed me exactly what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a mentee that was talking to me and told me that his cousin show him how to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So when a lot of people are using other username, unplugging their ELD, you don't have to do that. You know what I mean? But you know,
Yeah.
the FBA is watching, but the
Yeah.
FBI might be watching too.
Yeah. So we can't tweak
so
with
we
y'all.
so we ain't gonna tweak with y'all, man.
We can't tweak with y'all tonight, man. Tell all
but
the
but
BIEsness.
because if you look at the story early on that you were playing,
Mm-hmm.
and if you listen to what the lady said, she said back in the days a lot of drivers could have cheated the system. Now, if you listen what the guy was saying, he said this ELD is messing with my money. Pretty much he's not
Yeah.
making no money because he's losing time. But what did she say?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of drivers are now speeding because they thought the ELD, if they put in the ELD, it would stop drivers from cheating,
Mm-hmm.
but and reduce accident. But what did she say? The accident remain the same,
They just
but
speeding.
they're just speeding more.
Mm-hmm.
So the government answer to put the ELD to kind of like reduce a lot of stuff, it
Mm-hmm.
actually make it worse. It actually make it worse. So you just like people just gotta you gotta just like it's tricks and everything, man. You just gotta know it. It's like if you know, you know. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure somebody in the live know. You know what I mean? They just ain't gonna say nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let's
So
yeah.
it is
Let's
what
leave
it
that
is.
alone. Let's leave that alone, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So man, I think tonight was a good live. I mean, we covered, man, we covered this probably was the best show we did.
Mhm.
And we didn't even
Yeah, it
have
was.
any guest appearances. I mean, we covered Yellow, but outside of
Mhm.
Yellow and just the women in trucking, and then when we kind of got off topic for a second, we talked about cleanliness and stuff like that between men and women. I think that last segment where we played that video, we showed the box truck guy who's been trucking for over 40 years, right?
Mhm.
We went back, they took you on a road from prior early days of trucking all the way up into current. Then we went and broke down prior to deregulation, up to deregulation, up to where we are at now to kind of explain how this spot market was created.
Right.
And break it down. And it just reiterates what we always say. When we tell y'all stop saying that, stop taking cheap freight stuff because you hear everybody else say it. When I say you sound ignorant when you say that, this is why. Because it was created for this, everything that y'all complaining about, it was created for that reason. So now
Right.
that you know that, you have to do your best to win at that game. And which goes back to other stuff that we tell you all the time. You have to make sure that your cost is extremely low. The only way you're going to win at that spot market is by reducing your cost. All right. At the end of the day, the government, the powers that be are always going to side with the consumer. They made it competitive in trucking to drive down the rate so those savings could be passed along to the consumer.
Right.
Let's think about it like this. We're smart.
Because the consumer is what drive the economy. Don't forget that.
Exactly. Now let's think. They did this back in 1980. So now I was born in 1980. So 43 years later, if regulation still existed and you add inflation in it, some of the stuff that you purchase now at the cost that you purchase is at, it would be extremely much more higher.
Right.
Much more higher because everything is higher now. The cost to operate a truck is higher, fuel is higher, so the ICC would put a rate on the cost of shipping goods from point A to point B, and that rate would be set higher than it would be in what you see on the spot market because you have people competing for those rates, which drive down the rates.
Right.
So it was a gift and a curse. Here's the thing. Here's the thing where people gonna be messed up. It had to it had to happen, right, Kirk? I mean, if you think now like what we would be paying for shoes and pants and shirts but unfortunately it came with a cost. Everything comes with a cost, and the person who's paying for it is the trucker. I should say this: the person who's paying for it is the ignorant trucker, because you can still make money. So now, since we really took you back, we explained prior to regulation, we explained what regulation is leading up to now. So now that you know how all of this came about, now you know what to do to go be successful, because it's not going to ever change.
Right.
It was created like this for a reason, and the reason that it was created, it needed to happen. We can't be going out paying a bottle of water. You know, you buy a bottle of water, we can't be paying $10 for a bottle of water. We can't be paying, for a box of, big ink pens, 99 cents or $1, whatever it costs during back to school time. We can't be paying $10 and $15 for a box of ink pens. We just can't do it as a consumer. All right. We can't be, and truckers are consumers too. Truckers consume. We buy things, right? So it's a gift and a curse. Now, since everybody knows why it was created, now you know what to do to win. You got the edge. You was gonna say something, Kirk?
No, you're right. Yeah, no, you're right about that. And I wanna touch back on something what the news article was saying. This old truck thing used to run based off of partial. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it was before the deregulation, they were running partial.
I'm gonna play that part. Hold on.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, everything was ran partial. All truckers were home every night.
Right.
They were home every night.
So a lot of the stuff that people see nowadays, they don't understand.
$6 per mile. Hey, my costs to move this steel are $1 a mile. And the Interstate Commerce Commission would say, well, okay, then you can charge $1.06 per mile to your customers, whether it's U.S. Steel or a mom and pop, a machine shop that needs to move it.
Freight was moved from terminal to terminal, where local deliveries would combine smaller loads together and send them to the next terminal through long-haul truckers.
See, they would move from terminal to terminal. So truck would go a certain distance, transfer it to this terminal, then they would go home. That terminal would transfer it to the next terminal. Obviously, the farther something needed to get to, it would transfer through more terminals. If someone was going from, let's say, Chicago to New York, it might just transfer through one terminal, versus if it was going from New York, let's say, to Cali, it'll probably transfer through a multitude of terminals as it went across country. But
what that meant for drivers was a lot of them were home every night and they had regular schedules. It also meant that those terminals were...
But it was partial. So if it was a certain amount of things that were going in that same direction, they would put that stuff on a truck and send it in that direction to a terminal.
Easier to unionize.
The whole industry was unionized and regulated under the National Master Freight Agreement, negotiated by the Teamsters, which was one of the most powerful unions in the United States. That all ended when Jimmy Carter signed the Motor Carrier Act of 1980 in an effort to lower prices for consumers. This was a bipartisan effort.
You probably don't think of truckers as timid people, but that's
else changed that made the job harder. Freight
So then
started
when that
moving
happened,
point to point, from the shipper's location all the way to the customer.
For drivers, that means...
And then when that happened, that's when that changed the game, where everything went one pick, one drop from one point to the end point. So, yep. So, man, that's trucking for y'all guys. So y'all know what to do to win now. I mean, I think we saw, we conquered, man.
Yep. Your boy Daniel want to know where you get the survey from. So I don't know if you want to tell him, because you know he got time on his hand.
What are you talking about? What survey? What
I
you
guess
talking about?
on the internet, the survey that you was reading.
Survey I was reading. What you talking about?
Where you get the article, I guess, for the trucking. Daniel was trying to figure out where you get it. It's on Google, right?
The article. Talking about this. Where's the survey? What are you talking about? Talking about this article?
Yeah, I guess he's trying to find that.
This is Insider. This is Insider.
Yeah. Okay.
He wants Insider, businessinsider.com, businessinsider.com. Oh, for the video? Oh, it's
For the
a
video.
YouTube channel, More Perfect Union. More Perfect Union.
Yeah, give them the information so they can look it up and go watch it and probably watch some.
More Perfect Union. I'll just put the link in the description. I'll put the
Yeah.
link in the description of the video when we come offline. But the YouTube channel is More Perfect Union. More Perfect Union. I know I didn't put it up. I said I'll put it up once I come off the live. I'm on the live now. I can't put it up. But the YouTube channel is More Perfect Union. More Perfect. Matter of fact, I just put the link to the video in the chat, man. I'm. Let me just do it. There you go. There go the link to that video that we covered.
Yeah. This guy said you never put it up.
I know. I said I'd do it once we got off the live. I'm still on the live. That's why I just put it in the chat, man. Just be done with it, man. I don't know, bro. I don't know, bro. Let me get up out of here, man, before I get upset, bro. The one you put up in the chat, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? No, you didn't put for the video. You didn't put one up. The one you put up on the chat. What is he talking about, bro?
He's saying that the one you put on the chat, I guess the one you were talking about, the reading. You just dropped both of them there. You dropped the YouTube
I put it
and
up there, bro. Yeah. Whatever, bro.
Yeah. So he wants the article to go read. He wants the one to go read.
All right. I'll put the article up there too.
Come on, man.
Man, I don't know, bro. Like, shit.
Your subscribers, your favorite subscribers.
Nah, man, he got to put it in full sentences, man. Like, you can't just say you can't put your survey. Survey? What are you talking about? I don't got a survey.
You did a survey? Oh, did you put up a survey earlier?
Oh, this two people talking. No, this two people talking. This is Daniel and all right, so I put it up. Oh, I did a survey, about I put a survey up in the community for the Wise Man meet and greet. What city to go to? That's in the community. If that's what you talking about, I don't know, bro. Yeah, I put a poll up. Yeah, man, I'm done. I ain't thinking about that. Whatever, man. All right, man. I think we wrapped it up. I think tonight was a good episode. I don't wanna ruin it by
Yes, sir.
So
he means the poll. Hold on, he means the poll. So what the poll said? You put it up in the community?
I didn't put up a poll tonight. That's what I'm saying. If he's asking where is a poll, I didn't have nothing to poll tonight, so I didn't put one up. It's a poll
so
up.
What the community poll said?
I see a lot of Atlanta, so we need to probably plan something for Atlanta. But I think we're gonna go to Arizona first, and then maybe Chicago, or Atlanta will be second. We'll depend. Only reason I'm doing Arizona first is because I'm gonna be that way anyway, so I might as well just kill two birds with one stone.
All right.
So that'll be in the end of September, early October, and then we'll probably try to do one more before the end of the year. Maybe end of the year, beginning of next year, and that one will either be Chicago or Atlanta. So, all right. So, all right. So
ticket goes on sale in a month.
Yeah, we just looking for a venue in Arizona. I don't know if I gotta find something in Scottsdale or Phoenix. I got people working on it. So a lot of people from Chicago that I know that live out there now. So I got them working on it for me. And as soon as I get some locations and we get everything solidified, then we'll start promoting it. And then we'll just go from there. All right. All right, so you got anything to say in closing, Kirk? I think we can just wrap this one up, man. We can get ready for the
Yeah,
last
man.
one next week.
Yeah, no, this was a good one, man. We can just wrap it up. It's a good one. Thank everybody for coming through, man. We don't want to spoil the night.
Yeah.
Like we said, man, just do your research, take your time, study, study, study. You know what I mean? And don't jump in, because you don't want to end up like Billy, being 78 and angry.
Or the guy that
And
I was
living,
on the phone with, Ron, because he
or
older
the
than
guy,
71.
yeah, or Ron, yeah, right.
Yeah, because Ron older than 71. And you heard him on the phone. It's rough
Ron
right
said
now.
Ron said you almost hit him with your car, man.
Yeah, I saw him crossing the street. I just revved the engine a little bit. And I acted like I was going to hit him. But he wanted me to hit him because he was going to sue me. If I would have hit him, he would have sued me. But nah, I'm going to get out of here because I got to go meet Ron and run him some bread. All right, y'all.
Yeah.
See y'all next week. Next week is going to be the last episode for season 1. So make sure y'all are here for the season finale. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.